in faith to defend what is ours. Here we are as a people with one heart for one cause. We're determined to rebuild and restore. Where freedom reigns and truth prevails. Our land where there's hope for us all. Our land where there's hope for us all. We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there. We'll defend our land. We believe in Nigeria and the promise she holds, and that one day we'll shine like the sun. We're a great nation.
Mic check. Good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Can you all?
Yes, we can.
We are
Thank you.
many people, different tribes, different tongues. We're united in our strength and resolve to uphold the honor of our land and for generations to come. And for generations to come. We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there. We'll defend our land. We believe in Nigeria and the promise she holds, and that one day we'll shine like the sun. We're a great nation. See, we only have. We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there someday. Can somebody sing with me? We defend our land. We believe in this our nation, Nigeria, and the promises she holds for us. And someday we will shine like the sun. Oh, from the north, south, east, and west. Somebody say, if you believe tonight, say, we defend our land with all we have. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nigeria, stand up. Nigeria, stand up. Join me, say, yeah. What a great nation. Oh, 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 yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
Sì, che ne non disturbi. Where's my mixing? Sure.
Afternoon. Good afternoon.
It's green.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
The
sir.
land, it's green. Can't you see? I can see all the harvest is ready, 'cause he told me so. It's green and it's all mine. Stand in the rain as the clouds go gray. The thunder roars and the earth sings. The season's just beginning. The sunlight it hides as the clouds make way. For the pouring of my blessings, I will not be afraid. I see it now, I understand, I know. So I embrace it, dance. In the rain, it's for my seed to grow. For every prayer and every seed I've sown, the Lord of the harvest knows I'm reaping back 100-fold. The land is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green, can't you see? The harvest is ready, 'cause the Lord of the harvest told me so. It's green for me. It's green for me. Standing alone can be a heavy load, but my vows I won't be breaking. Though my heart is aching, I got a word and your will I'm seeking, so I keep on believing. I see it now, I understand, I know. So I embrace it, dance. Once again, it's time for me to grow. For every prayer and every tear I've sown, Lord of the harvest knows I'm reaping joy 100-fold. The land is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green, can't you see? The harvest is ready, 'cause the Lord of the harvest told me so. It's green for me. I thought it was over, thought you were done with me, but we're just beginning. Whoa, my life is a journey. I will walk with you, I will go where you want me to. Yes, I will go.
Come on.
The land is green. Yeah. He told me that the land is green. Hey, yeah.
Hello, is the host in the house? Hello? Hello? Is anyone there?
Can't hear you.
Yes, please, can you make me co-host?
Oh, I'm not the host.
Okay.
I'm just
All right.
confirming that I can hear you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
I think the host might be having network issues, possibly, because that's
All
where
right.
we're hearing the music from.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Happy Independence, by the way.
Thank you. Happy Independence. Don't worry, we're going to celebrate it very well in this meeting.
That's
Happy
great.
Independence.
Most
Happy
people have been
Independence.
rejecting it. I say Happy Independence, and they tell me no. Don't tell me that. Just tell me Happy New Month.
Well,
No,
why would they say that?
that's why we have this meeting.
Why would they say
Don't
that?
worry. We'll celebrate it.
We should be
Thank
proud
you.
of our nation. We should be
We
proud
are
of our
proud.
nation,
We are
irrespective of
proud.
what we are going through. We should be proud of it.
Toastmaster John Onomiya, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Toastmaster Vivian. It's a delight to see you.
Yeah, nice seeing you again. We were on the same platform yesterday, and we're here again today.
Absolutely.
Great to be here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Toastmaster John.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Toastmaster John.
Good afternoon,
Good
Toastmaster
afternoon.
Mobi.
Yes.
Toastmaster
Your
Vivian.
unique voice.
Nice to see you, yes.
Same here. So who's a Zoom master?
Madam Didi, Division Director. Division F was the host initially. I think she's still the host. So I don't know who is going to be anchoring or handling that responsibility, but she's the one that started it.
Okay, that's to enable us to share the word of the day.
Good afternoon, Toastmaster Wabi Arakwe.
Is that Kubi? Or
This is
that-
Toastmaster Wale Thomas.
Wale, you're sounding like Kubi now.
Because he's my president, so
Hey,
good to see your face again. Happy Independence.
same to you all. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Excuse me, can everyone hear me?
I can hear
Yes,
you
we
loud and clear.
can. Good afternoon, Toastmaster Inam Wilson. It's a delight to see you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, John. Good to see you. Let me see the familiar faces before I go to the unfamiliar faces. Okay. Okay, let me start from what I can see. So I have, your name cannot be Vivian Ikem, but that's fine.
That's his name.
That's his name.
That's his name. Like
Yes.
in Vivian, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
I'm happy you
Nice
said
to
that.
meet you, Vivian. That's an interesting name.
Let it be fine, please.
Okay, great. Wow, B. Orakwe, good to see you. Wale Thomas, good to see
That's
you.
right.
Pleasure, sir.
Yes.
Are you a senator or a distinguished senator?
Okay, I see Ejira Akpanachi. Hi, Ejira, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you. Good afternoon.
Okay,
How are you?
I see Tari. Hi, Tari.
Okay, I thought I could, my hands aren't showing on the screen. I don't know why, but hi.
Hi. Okay, and my FM, the very powerful Rashida.
I was going to double dare you not to see me.
I'm sorry, I have to see you.
Ooh, great to see you.
Yes.
We see you only once in a green moon like this.
Yeah. It's a good one. Good to see you all. Iyangete Ate, sorry. no video, but I think I can see your name. Nice to meet you.
DTM RSB.
Hey, the only one with the baritone voice.
My director, Titi Ojo.
Good afternoon.
It's been several years.
In fact, more than several.
Absolutely.
How you doing? Good to see you.
I'm doing
Good
lovely.
evening, everybody. Oh, great. Great.
Yeah.
Good evening, DTM Titi Ojo.
Okay, so we're all set.
Welcome, TM Ejura.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
I can
great.
hear you.
Thank you.
Wale, please share this your background. I love it.
All right. Okay, I'll copy it and share the chat room right now.
Request for it too. It's nice.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Governor.
Yes, sir. Nice to see you again.
My governor at all times.
The big man.
Let's finish on time so we
Yes,
can
yeah,
join our team.
Okay.
Hey, Big Mike.
Hello,
Yes,
good afternoon, everybody.
RSK, how are you? Abubakar, how are you? Nice.
Mr. Mike, good to see you.
Same here.
Master Abubakar Jimba, where are you going to?
Just Master, distinguished as Master RSB, I'm actually just coming back.
Nice to have you.
All right, I'm going home.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh.
Okay, can someone please share the Toastmasters promise on screen, please, so we can start? I'm waiting. I don't have this offhand. All right, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody, fellow Toastmasters and guests, if there are any, distinguished Toastmasters, past leaders, happy independence. I just want to confirm if I am heard. Can I get a confirmation? Am I heard?
We can hear you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
you
Thank you
are.
so much,
Hi,
Master
we hear you.
John. Without further ado, let us get this started. This is a joint meeting between Division K, Division F, and Division E to mark Nigeria, our beloved country. I would do the national pledge, but I don't have it offhand. Please don't judge me. This is a Toastmasters meeting, so we will do the Toastmasters promise. I would like everyone to mute themselves so that I will read out the promise, but please follow me along, because if you don't, I will know. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. As a member of Toastmasters International and my club, I promise to attend club meetings regularly, to prepare all of my projects to the best of my ability, basing them on the Toastmasters education program, to prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments, to provide fellow members with helpful constructive evaluations, to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow, to serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so, to treat my fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy, to bring guests to club meetings so they can see the benefits Toastmasters membership offers, to adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters educational and recognition programs, to act within Toastmasters' core values of integrity, respect, service, and excellence during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities. Please, let's give ourselves a round of applause. These are a lot of promises. And I would like to call upon the person who would open this meeting formally, Distinguished Toastmaster Chidi Chukwudimadu. She is the Division F Director, and she is someone who is wonderful, to say the least. When she comes on, you will see. Ladies and gentlemen, please give welcome to Distinguished Toastmaster Chidi Chukwudimadu.
Toastmaster Abubakar, did you tell them not to clap for me or what?
Oh no, I most certainly did not. Please give her a round of applause or else she will not come. And applause will do.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It's a pleasure to have you here with us today. Mr. Timer, if you don't mind, can you stop sharing your screen at this moment, please, so that we can enjoy the luxury of seeing the faces of everyone that comes to the virtual lectern. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to this auspicious event. Toastmasters Nigeria was celebrating our independence. Yesterday was October of Nigeria as a nation, and we're excited to have the opportunity to celebrate together in unity, in love. The theme of our event today is Naija, a nation of stories. We thought about a befitting theme that would capture where we are as a nation and where we want to be. And the truth is, for everything we do, however we go about our activities, there's always a story to it. Our history is a story, our present is a story, our future is a story. The question that should be on our minds is, what story would you want to hear about our nation, Nigeria? Bearing in mind that Nigeria is me, Nigeria is you. Nigeria is not about a spot on the map or about the land or the waters or the buildings. No, Nigeria is us as an individual. And whatever story we want to hear about our country, we have the power and we have that right to determine how we want that story to be told. The question then is, what is your story? What story do you want to be told about you? Are you the protagonist in your story? Are you an action figure? Are you taking charge of your story? Or are you letting people tell your story for you how they want? I listened to a speaker, a Toastmaster, sometime in 2015 in Seaside Toastmasters, and she spoke about her story. And one thing that struck me after that meeting is the fact that she said she decides when, how, and where to tell her story. Nobody makes that decision for her. And my charge to us today is to decide and determine today to be the author of our stories, knowing that we make up Nigeria. Let's be the author of the story of Nigeria, so that in the future or in the present, when the story of our beloved country is being set, we would feature as the action figures, and we would be able to relax with a smile on our face, knowing that we played our part as Nigeria. So welcome once again, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Relax. We're going to have a swell time today, and we will visit a whole lot of stories that has been said. We are going to build into the stories that will be told in the future. We are creating stories even in this meeting. So thank you for being here, and I appreciate you giving us your time this evening. I would want to recognize the presence of the division directors of Division E and K. You will see them on your screen very soon, in due course of the meeting. We have some district leaders here that I would just want to take 1 minute to appreciate and recognize. I noticed that our district director has just entered the meeting room. I'm sure maybe he did not know we would notice, but we did notice, and thank you for being here with us. Sir, he'll be coming on. Immediately I go off the screen to give us the opening remarks. And I want to appreciate the presence of our district finance manager, DTM Kayode, DTM Big Mike, thank you, I see you. Our parliamentarian at the district level, PDD, soon to be DTM, Inam Wilson. A whole lot of our bodies. I can see DTM, RSB. Thank you so much, everyone. I cannot begin to mention everybody's name, but thank you for being here. And I'm sure we'll have a swell time today. As we go on, I would want to give us the opening remarks of this meeting, our district director, a man who loves stories. He loves to tell stories. He loves to create stories. Who better to open this meeting than the story man himself? Someone who's passionate about helping people identify the greatness within them. He's a communications expert, our district director, Patrick Oluide, DTM. Didi, sir, the virtual lectern is yours. Distinguished Toastmaster Patrick, I hope the network has not played a fast one on him. All right, so I noticed he's no longer in the meeting. I bet he got disconnected. Well, when he comes back, he will give us his remarks. I bet we'll have to move on. When the DD joins the meeting, he would give us his opening remarks. Now, to the person who will anchor today's meeting. I'm sure he's someone we all know. If you look on your screen, you will see a dashing young man who has come in his traditional attire to blaze our screen. Our Toastmaster of the day for today is Toastmaster John Onumia. Toastmaster John joined Toastmasters in 2012, and he has served in various categories. He served at the club level, he's been club president, he's currently the area director for Area 18. I like to call him the mentor of mentors because he would mentor you, he would take you through whatever journey, provided you are ready. Fellow Toastmasters and guys, join me to welcome to the virtual lectern, a Toastmaster of the day, husband to one wife, and father to two lovely children, Toastmaster John Onumia.
Thank you so much, Madam Division Director. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests, at least for those of you here in Nigeria. And if you're not in Nigeria, you are missing out. I'm ecstatic to be here because I love these types of events that talk up our lovely country, Nigeria. And one other reason is because I am with men and women of such caliber. When you see people like this, if you don't have the agenda, don't worry, I'll run you through the program. And when you begin to meet the men and women that are playing roles, giving speeches, you realize Nigeria has a bright future. As long as we can see it and we work towards it, I know we're going to have a much better country. Now, before I move on, some ground rules. Please, if you can, turn on your camera. We want to see your lovely faces. Let's see your faces. COVID has kept us away, but now, if we see your faces, we feel like we're actually communing together. We're in a meeting. If you can't, for whatever reason, it's okay. But if you can put that bit of effort, step up, change your clothes, stay in the right direction, we would really appreciate that. Let's see your faces. Another ground rule, please, if you're not speaking, click on that mute button, remain muted. And we have some co-hosts in the room, Sergeant at Arms, make sure that happens. I know sometimes maybe your child runs in and clicks your laptop. It's fine, it's fine. But when you realize that, please just click the mute button. And final rule from my end, you see the reactions button. When we introduce people, just do this. See that virtual applause, do that. It encourages people. By doing that, you're making a better Nigeria. You don't understand. Simple steps. Simple steps. Can everyone please try that? Let's see your virtual round of applause. Please, let's see it. Let's see it. Slowly. Thank you. Keep coming. Yes. Now I feel good. Look at the screen. How can't I feel good? Thank you. This is why it pays to be the Toastmaster of the day. As Toastmaster of the day, I have the easiest job of just taking you through the agenda. Now, let me tell you what we have lined up for you today. We have table topics lined up where they'll call you up and give you a topic and you get to have fun with it. We have prepared speeches and you need to stay to listen to these speakers. Then we have an exciting portion that I am longing to actually get to, networking with individual networking rooms so we get to meet people. I love meeting people. Add contacts to your phone list. It's very important. Then we go to another table topic. So if you missed the first one, please don't cry, don't weep. You have the second opportunity before we go to a panel session. It's going to be a session worth taking notes in. And finally, we're going to go to the evaluation portion of the meeting. There's no Toastmasters meeting without evaluation. If you're a guest, this is not the standard setup for a Toastmasters meeting, but trust me, you came on the right day. Now, it is my delight to introduce the person that is going to handle the evaluation team in person of the general evaluator. Our general evaluator for today is a program manager and a fashion enthusiast with a keen love for training, writing, and public speaking. She is the president of ASO Rock Stars Toastmasters Club. Dear Toastmasters and guests, I hope we have not forgotten what I said about encouraging people with the virtual round of applause, because I need you to do this. With a virtual round of applause, please welcome our general evaluator for today, Toastmaster Ejura Opanachi. Over to you, our general evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster John. Thank you, Toastmasters and guests. Good afternoon. My role as general evaluator is to ensure that the meeting goes according to plan, and I'll be evaluating every aspect of the meeting. There's a reason why Toastmasters International has been able to sustain itself close to 100 years with clubs all over the world. And that is because we have guidelines. Toastmasters International has guidelines. And this is not a typical Toastmasters meeting, but elements of a typical club meeting is involved in this. And so I'll be evaluating every aspect from the beginning to the end. And at the end, I will come back to give my report. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, our general evaluator. Please can we give her a virtual round of applause? We did a good job last time. I think we can still do better. Thank you. I want to see more come up. Thank you. And I would love to thank those of you that have turned on your camera. I really do appreciate it. It makes me feel very appreciated. Now, moving on to our next role player, the person of the grammarian. Our grammarian for today is a media consultant, broadcaster, and you will understand when you hear him speak, and voiceover artist. He is the founder of Aspire Radio, an internet radio that shares with the world a better way to live. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a virtual round of applause, please welcome to our screens the grammarian for today, Toastmaster Nwaobi Orakwe.
Thank you very much, the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster John. It's a pleasure to perform the role of the grammarian for today. Let's face it, anytime you use words, you can affect people, but when you become a ringmaster of words, you're bound to move mountains. My task as a grammarian this evening is quite simple. It's essentially twofold. One, to identify the mellifluous use of the language as well as the challenging use of the language. In addition, I have the privilege of sharing with us the word of the day to also increase our vocabulary. And for the purpose of this meeting, the word of the day is triumphant. Triumphant is an adjective meaning feeling or expressing jubilation after a victory or achievement. And examples of usage will include: he couldn't suppress a triumphant smile. And secondly, you can also have independence is a triumphant call to self-actualization. I'll be back when you bid me come back to report to the house how well we did. The Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, our grammarian for today. Please can we give him a virtual round of applause once again? And if you can, please stop sharing the screen so we can see people's beautiful faces. Thank you. When you were speaking, I was shivering a bit and I couldn't tell if it was that bass in your voice or the AC that I'm actually under right now. I have a lovely voice. Now I'll be introducing the timer for today. And let me remind everyone, please, I love to see the virtual round of applause. And I would love to encourage you to understand that we're already having a triumphant day because you're in this meeting. Now, the timer for today, if you have the agenda, you'll see that we have two timers. I think only one is here at the moment. One is the backup for the other. Our timer for today is a civil engineer by occupation who enjoys architecture and project management as extracurricular activities. He loves to design, cook, and play games. I don't think he's in Lagos. If you were our timer, I would have come to sample your food because I love to assist people that love to cook by tasting the food and ensuring they fine-tune it. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a virtual round of applause, please welcome to our screens our timer for today, Toastmaster Senator Ofomi. Please welcome him to the screen to tell us his role today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tiamodi, for that warm introduction. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, happy Independence. So it was Levelson that said, don't watch the clock, do what it does, keep going. So today as the timer, I'm going to be tracking every bit of this meeting. As you can see, I've been doing that before now. If you can see my screen, I'll just time each and every one according to the agenda, according to the time given to everyone to speak. So this is what you'll be seeing. If you pin my video to your screen, you'll be seeing this. I'll just show you how it moves. It moves automatically. So when it's your minimal time, it shows you green. When it's the midway between the minimal and maximal time, it shows you yellow.
I cannot hear the timer at the moment. Okay, I see people nodding, meaning that I'm not alone in that. Okay.
And when it is the maximum allotted time, it shows you where that means much, Mr. TMOD, for this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Senator. The other timer is Toastmaster Gbemi. I still don't see him in the room. Please, if you're playing a role or speaking, endeavor to pin the timer's screen to yours to ensure you keep to time. You'll be triumphant in performing your activities if you ensure you manage your time properly. Now, moving on to the next role player. Our next role player is the R counter for today. Our R counter is the Vice President Education of Jabi Lakeside Toastmasters Club. He's also a corporate strategy specialist at Jazz Bank PLC, and he's an advocate for Toastmasters. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a virtual round of applause, please welcome to our screens, Toastmaster Kabir Suleiman. Over to you, Toastmaster Kabir.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, for that warm introduction. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and our distinguished guests. My role as R counter today, I'm going to note and record the use of filler words in respective speeches, the use of repetitive words in respective speeches, and the use of inappropriate interjections in respective speeches. For the sake of our guests, interestingly, our speakers these days, sometimes they tend to use filler words to show some air of authority around them or to beautify their speeches. You will hear some using filler words such as, as I was saying. Unfortunately, the use of those filler words actually distort the flow and understanding of the audience. For the speaker who is doing it, may not feel it. However, for the audience, they will be distorted and they will be disjointed in having a comprehensive understanding of the speech. I will be back when called upon to give my report, and some examples of the filler words are as I was saying. While for the repetitive words, they happen also where speakers are trying to articulate their thoughts and you hear some repetition of phrases or words. So all that I will try to note it and then provide when called upon to do so. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please can we give a virtual round of applause to our R counter for today. Moving on to the next role player, our listening evaluator for this meeting. Our listening evaluator has been a member since 2007. She's a marketer of medical devices. She has been a dual member of Eagle Toastmasters Club and Merit Toastmasters Club, and is the immediate past president of Tutors and Trainers Toastmasters Club. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a virtual round of applause, please welcome to our screens, Toastmaster Rashidat Saliu Bello, DTM, which stands for Distinguished Toastmaster. Over to you, listening evaluator for today.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Fellow Toastmasters, and if there are guests on this call already, I'd like to shock you. Do you know that you could actually listen for what is not said? You could listen for what is said, and then you could listen for what is not said, but then listening is an integral part of communication. Sometimes people don't get the intended feedback because they were not listening actively. My role today is pretty simple. I want to make sure that we are all listening with rapt attention, and that I shall do by asking a few questions based only on what is said today. And by that, I'll be able to gauge whether you were listening actively and attentively or not. Please listen very well, listen with your eyes, and listen with your ears. The Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. Please can we give our listening evaluator a virtual round of applause. I think there are over 50 people, so some of us must listen to at least a portion of the meeting. We'll answer all your questions correctly. Now, moving right along. Before I do that, let me ask that we please turn on our cameras And remember to actually use the reaction button when I ask for a virtual round of applause. Put on your cameras if you can. Let's feel like we're actually with other people in this meeting. Over 53, I'm only seeing about 10. I think we can do better. Moving right along, I'll be introducing my next role player. Now note, we have 2 table topics portion for today's meeting. However, I'm going to call up only 1 table topics master, but I'll introduce 2 of them. Now, the table topics master I'm going to call up to our screens will explain the portion of that meeting, the table topics portion. And our table topics master is the president of Go Get It Toastmasters Club and a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a virtual round of applause, please welcome to our screens, Toastmaster Vivian Ikem. Toastmaster Vivian, over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. And good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I say a very happy independence to all of us today. My role as table topics master will be to conduct the table topics segment of the meeting. Now, the table topics is that segment of the meeting that helps us to perfect and improve on our impromptu speaking ability. In life, it's been proven that we have more occasions for impromptu speaking than for prepared speeches. So it's important that as Toastmasters, as leaders, we constantly improve our performance in impromptu speaking. So today I will be anchoring that segment, and I want to encourage all of us to please indicate on the chat box if you want to take part in that segment. Some like it, some hate it, but for me, it's one of the best parts of the table of the Toastmasters meeting every day. So thank you very much, the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vivian. Please can we give him a virtual round of applause? And let's do more than that. Let's actually accede to what he said and type your name as a volunteer in the chat box. It's a fun segment. Please type your names. Just type. If you're scared, type. If you're not scared, type. If you're not sure, type. Now let me introduce the other table topics master, even though she won't step up to explain because the role has already been explained, but you need to know who this beautiful woman is. The other table topics master is an accountant by training, but a human resource practitioner. She enjoys coaching, sewing, and reading. She also loves food a lot. Anybody that loves food, you are dear to my heart. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a virtual round of applause, let's just acknowledge her and give her that reaction button. Give her that reaction. She's not coming up to speak. We'll see her face later. We'll hear her lovely voice later. Yes, you can wave to us, Toastmaster Juliet. Okay, wave. Yes. You can see her face. Don't worry, you'll hear her voice later on. Now, are we ready? Let me see in the chat box. Are we ready? Let me type. Are we ready? Are we ready to move on? I want to see yes, yes, or yes in the chat box. Are we ready? Yes, thank you. Now I can move on. Thank you. Thank you for making me feel like I'm actually here with other people. We are going into the first table topics portion of the meeting. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a virtual round of applause, welcome back to our screens, Toastmaster Vivian Ikem. Over to you, Toastmaster Vivian.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. I'm just going through the chat room to see whether I have any volunteers. I can't see anyone yet, so I'm going to give us a few seconds to do that. Otherwise, I will call anyone that my eyes meet his or her name on the screen. Any volunteers, please? And today's table topic section is going to be very, very simple because it will focus around what we are celebrating today, Nigeria. So I need volunteers. I'm checking the chat box again. Okay, thank you. I can see one hand up. Anthony Is that a hand up? I'm also seeing Wale.
Yes,
I need one
yes.
more.
The hand up.
One more. I have two hands. I need a third hand. Okay, I will start. I will start with you, Anthony. Okay, I see Chidi Chupudi. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Anthony Pogbe, can you kindly introduce yourself and what you do?
Okay, good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters.
Good afternoon.
I believe we have guests in our midst. My name is Anthony Pogbe. I'm a member of Delta Africa Toastmasters Club. I'm in the immediate past president. I'm a project management professional, and I also consult for businesses. One of such is Blossom Food Products.
Thank you very much. Okay, now this is how we'll do it. Nigeria has 7 letters, and each of the letters have a question with it. So I will invite you to pick any of the letters that make up the spelling of Nigeria. You know, we have N-I-G-E-R-I-A. So which letter will you pick?
Okay, so my name starts with A, so I go for A.
Okay, let me look for the question that goes with that A. Very simple. In 1 to 2 minutes, Toastmaster Anthony, tell us, what do you love most about your being a Nigerian?
Wow, what do I love most of being a Nigerian? I love so many things of being a Nigerian, but I want to pick one of them. And one of them is about the human resources that we have in Nigeria. The human resources is what I love most about Nigeria. Now, the reason is very simple. I've interacted with a lot of Nigerians, and I've also interacted with people due to the business I do, people from different other nations, you know, African nations, European nations, American nations, and the rest, due to the work that I do. And I have come to realize, you know, that I'm not trying to really make a comparison per se. I've come to realize that Nigerians, they stand out in whatsoever they do. In fact, an American, this thing that I've worked with, a construction manager, called me one day and he wondered about the intellectual capacity of Nigerians. He actually really put it up to me, you know, son, that he wondered. And he was telling me that he's actually really, because that after spending a year, he said he's wondering that we have this kind of human capacity and the nation is where it is. That he was actually thinking that when he was coming, that he was coming to lord it over some kind of folks that don't really have anything much to offer upstairs. So if you also really go into the news, you discover that in everywhere Nigerians are, America, Europe, Asia, whatever, you see that they are actually really making exploit in different fields of endeavor. You know, we heard about one that did one fantastic surgical operation in bringing out, working on a baby inside and returning the baby back, and the baby succeeded. That was in America. I'm sure you know about that. So what I actually really love most about being a Nigerian is the kind of human capacity that we have. And this is also, if you see it, our children also displays most of these things. So it's really a fantastic thing that I love about Nigeria. And my call to any governmental person on this call is that this is one area that we need to focus attention to. You know, that this one will give us more revenue than the oil that we are all running up and down for. I submit my case, the topics master.
Thank you very much, Anthony, for that wonderful response. We know that you are proud, you are a proud Nigerian, and you love the fact that Nigeria is blessed with rich human resources. Thank you very much. Our next respondent is Wale Thomas, Toastmaster Wale Thomas.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please tell us your name briefly and what you do.
Yeah, my name is Wale Thomas, a business and transformational leadership coach. I'm into consulting, strategy, and futuristic for any organization. That's what I do for a living. Thank you very much.
And I will add that you are an Arsenal fan.
Always, 36 years counting down.
Okay. The same way we went with Toastmaster Tony, you pick a letter from the word Nigeria. A has already been taken.
Good. I will pick the word N.
N. Great. Great. So in 1 to 2 minutes, we all have dreams. It's not only Martin Luther King Jr. that has dreams. We all have dreams. So tell us a story of the Nigeria of your dream in 1 to 2 minutes. Wale Thomas.
We all have dreams. Yes, not Martin Luther King alone has a dream. Edward Morrow said, no one can terrorize a nation unless we are all its accomplices. So, what is your dream for Nigeria? What is my dream for Nigeria? I love to see a nation where sound health facilities are available for anyone, irrespective of your status, irrespective of your region, irrespective of where you come from. Even in addition, I love to see an educational systems where I can go to sleep and my great-grandchildren will go to school free to secondary school. But can you imagine if we all pay our taxes up to 40% and the government decides to give us scholarship to university level? Majority of parents in our nation will be rest assured that yes, the only thing that you can give to your child, which is education, to educate their minds so that they can think beyond their scope. But can you also look at it? Growing up for me was pathetic and very chaotic. I came from a polygamous family and I loved to read. My father was educated, but my mom was not. But my mother told me, young man, watch what you do. Let your cover look guide your dreams, which I love, empathy, patience, accountability. But then going to school was tough. I walked in the midst of hoodlums, smoking India hemps, and that did not derail my dream being achieved. Looking back now, I have my MBA. I have children that are growing up. My first son is 18 years old, already in Unilag. Those dreams have been accomplished. What is your dream for Nigeria? I ask every one of us, looking at my face right now, can you imagine power not going up in this nation for 20 years? Would that bring joy to your face? Will you smile or will you be angry? I'm asking us once again. We all drive on Lagos Road, potholes that will swamp your car. But then that pothole start little by little. Lagos now, we're enjoying a little bit of that. Most roads have been reconstructed. We are driving very well. But also look at it, my fellow Toastmasters, DTM in the house. Look at the aged parent. In conclusion, I ask you, all of us looking at me, don't think of what the country can do for you, but think of what you can do for your country. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Please let us give him a round of applause. Great one, Toastmaster Wale Thomas. And I will invite Toastmaster Chidi Chukwudi, our last respondent for this segment. Toastmaster Chidi, where are you? Toastmaster Chidi. Okay, can I get another volunteer? I can't find him. Well, my tool previous respondents have been really, really wonderful in making this look so simple, the table topic segment. So anybody can actually do it. Can I have another volunteer to quickly round up this first segment of the table topics? Okay, thank you very much, Toastmaster Hamid. Toastmaster Hamid.
Toastmaster.
Great. Yeah, please, can you quickly introduce yourself? Tell us your name and what you do, briefly.
Yeah, my name is Hamid, and I'm a research scientist in the mammalian molecular biology in Czech.
Great. So you will pick a letter from the word Nigeria. Okay. N has been taken as well as A. So you still have I-G-E-R-I.
Okay, let me go for I.
I. Okay. If you were to be Nigeria's president today, what 3 things will you address as a matter of priority and why? Tell us in 1 to 2 minutes.
That's a great question. Thank you very kindly. Well, it's also, okay. If I have the opportunity to lead the country, Nigeria, what I will first of all address is the issue of employment and security. And I would use the employment and security. And to address security, I would kind of revisit why the NYSC scheme was created. You know, it is to foster, of course, unity among Nigerians. And if we have unity, we love one another, we can be able to be our brother's keeper. And that will ensure that you are safe wherever you are in Nigeria. And I think with that, security can be guaranteed. But presently, the scheme is kind of not serving its purpose again. Like, it's not really achieving that aim. So I'll revisit that. So as for employment, I would try to harness the opportunity or the resources that we have in Nigeria, which we have kind of forgotten. We have the Raw Material Research Institute that I don't think we are really producing anything. Rather, we have people from abroad, people from the West trying to take what we have in Nigeria to develop their country and sell it back to us in Nigeria. So I will try to make them, those things they are taken out of Nigeria to build in their country, I'll try to make them do it in Nigeria. Like, we are the one producing, and by that would have more like companies and would have more employment. And I'll also support other people that have ideas, the young young people who are just coming up with their different businesses. I think that's what I can think of for now. Thank you.
Wow. Well, thank you very much, Toastmaster Hamid. Are you a Toastmaster or a guest?
Not yet. I'm just trying to join here where I'm a guest.
Okay, great. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay. I think that brings us to the end of this first segment. I would like to invite us to please, on the chat box, direct to the Sergeant at Arms, vote for who is your best respondents in this segment. We had Toastmaster Anthony Obe, Toastmaster Wale Thomas, and guest Chidi Chukwudi, respondents in this first segment of the table topics. Thank you very much, dear respondents, and thank you, fellow Toastmasters and guests, for your rapt attention through this segment. Back to you, the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vivian. Please, can we give Toastmaster Vivian a virtual round of applause for the way he anchored that portion of the meeting. Before we vote, let's just confirm. Timer, Toastmaster Senator, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Please, can you give us a breakdown of the time that the speakers use so we know who we can vote for?
Okay. The first speaker, Tim Anthony, used 2 minutes, 45 seconds. The second speaker, Tim Wale, used 2 minutes, 31 seconds. While the last speaker, the last but not the least, Tia Ahmed used 1 minute 47 seconds.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Senator. Please, can we give him a virtual round of applause? Dear Toastmasters, dear guests, and Hamed, just to reiterate, in Toastmasters, we keep to time. You cannot be triumphant as a speaker without keeping to time. And what that means is that—
Over to you, Mr.
Our
Tiamodi. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you now. Thank you, Toastmaster Senator. What that means that our first speaker and our second speaker, they are both disqualified. Our champion for that portion of the meeting is Hamed because of time. It's unfortunate, but we ensure that we stick to these things that make us get better. Toastmaster, Hamed, soon to be Toastmaster, Hamed, at the end, you'll be properly recognized. Congratulations in advance.
Thank you, thank you.
Dear Toastmasters and guests, I'm a bit hesitant to move forward. Somebody, you can type Y in the chat box. You can tap Y. You're allowed to ask the Toastmaster of the Day question. Thank you, our panelists. Thank you so much. The reason I'm hesitant is because if we just experience that quality in speeches for table topics where they didn't know about the topics they were going to speak on, what are we expecting for prepared speeches? Sometimes things that are too good can be scary. That's why I'm hesitant to move forward. But I am a brave man. I am a Nigerian. So we move forward. Let's move on. Now I am going to introduce the lady who is going to anchor the prepared speech portion of this meeting, our prepared speech facilitator. She's a lawyer and a public relations and communications specialist. She's been a Toastmaster for 8 years. She loves meeting and getting to know people. I love to do that as well. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a virtual round of applause, please can we welcome our prepared speech facilitator for today, Toastmaster Leke Mimi. Toastmaster Leke, over to you. Toastmaster Leke, are you? Yes. Toastmaster Leke, I can see you. Can you hear us? Toastmaster Leke, we cannot hear you. I think you're still muted. At least that's what I see. Try unmuting, please.
Okay.
Hey, yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, I'm in transit, so I'm kind of a bit disturbed. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, my role as a prepared speeches facilitator today is exactly what it is, to facilitate the prepared speeches, and we'll have 3 of them today. This is a very important segment of the meeting because the speakers have done their researches, curated their content, and have tailored it for optimal delivery to us. You can even say we are getting immense knowledge on the platter, right? I know most of us are burning to get this underway. So without much ado, let's get this. The first speaker today is TM Yang from Division E. He was speaking from the presentation mastery part, level 3, project 2 elective. And he will be evaluated by TM Natasha Ibori. The purpose of the objective is for a member to practice writing a speech with an emphasis on adding language to increase the interest and impact. The title of his speech is Contradictions. TM Yang. Can you hear me? I hand over the virtual lectern to the speaker. TM Yang. Can you hear me? Oh.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Yes, TM Yang, the virtual lectern is over to you.
Well, thank you very much. If I'm on my screen. All right.
They're not seeing you. They can see me. The lecture is over again. It's the one that cannot be
Have you met Abiola Morakiu, a family man to the core, willing to do everything within his power to provide and protect his family? A faithful husband and a loving father. But Olake Abiola Morakiu, an arrogant and egotistic man to the core. Contradiction. Have you met Mohammed Salisu, a hardworking man, diligent and dedicated to his responsibility? Good. I got muted by the host, so sorry. Have you met Mohammed Salisu, a hard-working man, willing to do everything within his power to succeed at work and to help his company to earn as much profit? He was even voted the best staff of the company in the year 2020. But Mohammed Salisu, a dishonest, greedy, and selfish man to the core. Contradiction. Have you met Ngozi Okeke, a beautiful, charming, amiable Ngozi Okeke, kind-hearted, a voice as sweet as honey, but Ngozi Okeke, lazy, laid back, and lackadaisical. Contradiction. Is it possible that our contradictions are a significant part of our authentic self? The Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and everyone that has questioned his authenticity or his authentic self because of his contradictions. Yesterday, I was driving back home, rushing in my car, because I'd forgotten a very important document at home and I needed to deliver it urgently. And as I was driving on, all of a sudden, a car came from behind me and it overtook me. His overtaking me was not a problem, but the fact that he parked right in front of me to pick a passenger, then I realized it was actually a car. At that point, I was furious and I managed to maneuver my car and I parked where I could see the driver and talk to him one-on-one. And I poured it out on him. Organa, wait till they do you. I got something they do. He turned to me and said, Organa, vex now. My car, firewood, you did. At that moment, I drove off. And by the time I was about 100 meters away from that spot, I laughed and I called Toastmaster Eyang Ate, the Toastmaster General of the Federation, a Toastmaster of Toastmasters International, where leaders are made, where leaders are supposed to communicate responsibly. My contradiction. The fact about life is that we all have contradictions, what I consider the paradox of our lives, where we exhibit behavior that is a huge deviation from who we are supposed to be, a great contrast to whom we are ordinarily supposed to be. Perhaps over time, we have learned well enough to wear a mask, revealing to the world only what we want them to see. But sometimes, at some point, the mask certainly gets to fall off, revealing to the world our dark side, our contradiction, perhaps an aspect of our authentic self. In our quest towards being better versions of ourselves, we ordinarily want to pay attention to becoming better people. But we do not pay as much attention to our contradictions. And when we do, we probably wear the mask in order to conceal and reveal only that which is pleasant to see. At that point, we would have succeeded in doing one thing, in denying who we are, denying the existence of our contradictions, refusing to be aware of our contradictions, and in fact, at some point, we try to validate, justify, and validate our contradictions. As Nigeria hits its 61st birthday, I began to wonder what the contradictions of Nigeria are. And it hits me the very huge claim of the giant of Africa. And I wonder, could this giant of Africa truly be standing on clay feet, as was mentioned by a notable Nigerian just about a month ago? Could it have paid as much attention to its contradictions, the clay feet, in order for it to be able to become the better version of itself? But this could have been about Nigeria, but it is also about you and I. In our quest to being better versions of ourselves, will it not be expedient for us to pay attention to our contradictions by being grateful about being aware and then refusing to deny them and refusing to justify and validate these contradictions, but be willing to do everything within our power to bring about the change that we want to be? At that point, we will be revealing our true, authentic self, that which is mindful of our contradictions, but is particularly willing to do what needs to be done to manifest as the very best version of ourselves. The Toastmaster of the day.
Hello, can anyone hear me? Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay. I told us earlier that we are going to have a very fantastic speech there. We're going to have to learn a lot from it. We're not going to be wasting so much time this afternoon. We're moving immediately to the next speaker, which I will introduce shortly. The next speaker is Toastmaster Modupe Badiru from Division K. She will be speaking from the Innovative Planning Path, Level 4, Project 2 elective. She will be evaluated by TM Adeju Mobi Fashola. The purpose of this project is for the members to practice the skills needed to effectively use public relations strategies for the group, for any group or situation. The purpose of this speech is for a member to share some aspect of his or her public relations strategy. The title of her speech is Our Nigeria, Our Children, Our Hope. Our Nigeria, Our Children, Our Hope. Toastmaster Modupe, the lectern is yours.
Thank you very much. The Toastmaster of the day and the prepared speech session manager. Nigeria, a nation of stories. So I'm going to be sharing two stories this afternoon. And in the African tradition, I will sit down to tell my story. Our Nigeria, our children, our hope. The first story is about a lovely girl, Melanie Poppin. She was born in a country when the dollar was 60 kobo. It took 60 kobo to buy a dollar. And this beautiful girl was born to Yoruba parents. At about age 6, she moved to the northern part of Nigeria. And she grew up, schooled, educated, mixed with the people of Kaduna State. So this girl considered herself to be a Kaduna girl. In fact, most people will say, are you from the north? Because of the way you behave, the way you dress, and the way you speak. She eventually ended up serving in the Southeast and working in the Southeast for up to 4 years in different companies. And then this girl considered herself to be a true Nigerian. She attended a unity school. And in school, she mingled with all sorts of people. She is so lucky, very blessed. That girl is now an advanced communicator and an advanced leader. Thanks to Toastmasters, she had the best Nigeria could offer. Nigeria, a nation of stories. It brings me to the second story of another nation and other children. These children live in a country where the dollar is currently 570 naira to a dollar. Another story of another country, different from the country where the dollar was 60 kobo. Before I go on in my story, I want to ask a question. How many of you remember that saying, children are the leaders of tomorrow? If you ever heard it in your life, please let me have a comment in the chat box. Children, you know you are the leaders of tomorrow. You know you are the leaders of tomorrow. If you ever heard it, please leave a comment in the chat box. And if you are living in this second country, where the dollar is 580 naira to a dollar, please drop your comments in the same chat room and tell me how you feel. There's this girl, she grew up, schooled when the dollar was ordinary 60 kobo. If you had 60 kobo, you could buy a dollar. If you are living in that country, where currently you need over 500 naira to buy a dollar, please let me see here. In the chat box, let me see what you think. So the second story, it's about the leaders of tomorrow. And they live in this country where the dollar now is 580 naira. I want to ask all of you, I don't know when you were born, and I don't know how much the dollar was when you were born or when you schooled. Are you a leader today? Do you think the children of today are equipped to be the leaders for tomorrow? Do you think they are supported enough to be the leaders of tomorrow? There's another common saying that tomorrow never comes, tomorrow never comes. But I tell you, tomorrow comes, and tomorrow is here. And the leaders of tomorrow, they're here now. Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters and guests, fellow Nigerians, we are the leaders for today. We are the leaders that they spoke about in those days. I'm sure nobody here was born when the dollar was 500 naira. Backtrack 4 years ago, it was 180 naira to a dollar. So we enjoyed the best of Nigeria. Nigeria prepared us. Nigeria groomed us. It was easy for you to pay your Toastmasters dues. But now we live in a Nigeria where most children are out of school. In fact, to shock you, 1 out of every 5 children in the world, they're Nigerians and they're out of school. And that's according to UNICEF. To make the matter worse, in this second country, according to the Jobberman Nigeria Recruitment Agency, 42% of our graduates, the graduates in this new second country, they are non-employable because they lack the basic requisite skills to be employed. And that brings me to you, leaders of today. You are Toastmasters. And in Toastmasters, we are taught communication and leadership skills. And part of the skills that the leaders of tomorrow need is to be able to communicate and able to lead. And so Toastmasters, I want to encourage you today. My call today is to invest your time, invest your money, and invest your social capital in grooming the leaders of tomorrow. And you ask me, how? What can I do? Yes, I want to invite you and encourage you to please sponsor a Gavel Club. Sponsor a Gavel Club. It's an opportunity for you to invest in the leader of tomorrow, in the leaders of tomorrow. A Gavel Club, there's going to be a demonstration club for a Gavel Club on the 20th of October, 2021. We need role players. We need support in terms of paying the registration fees. We need support in terms of encouragement and people that will regularly attend this club, which by the way is in Bagada and will be open to the public schools in Bagada. Please listen to our children.
Please support us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Over to you, the Toastmaster of the day.
All right, so that was a great speech from the speaker there this evening. When she was talking about the first speaker, the description of the character in that first story, for a moment I felt I was the one. But then somewhere in between the story, I was like, oh, okay, I might not be the one. I'm just hoping that I should have been the one. However, that was a fantastic speech there. I know we all enjoyed it. Like I told us earlier on, we would be having some information on a platter of gold. And I know we are having it, and no one here would disagree with me on that. So we're moving swiftly to the third speaker, and our final speaker today. He's no other person than Toastmaster Kayode Yusuf from Division F. He will be speaking from the Innovative Planning Part Level 3, Project 2 elective. He will be evaluated by Toastmaster David Dokun. The purpose of his project is for the members to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. The title of his speech is, "In Nigeria, Women Belong to the Other Room." Really? Well, Toastmaster Kayode, tell us how women belong to the other room. The lecture is yours.
Story.
Story.
Long, long time ago, on a cold, rainy night, in a place called Abeokuta, translated to mean under the rock, a frail but beautiful girl was born. Her mother had suffered several miscarriages. Her father, Mr. Daniel Thomas, was one of the first people to accept Christianity in Abeokuta. Hence, he paid no heed to the calls that he should appease Shokono, the god of smallpox, who steals away infants, snatching them off their mother's hands like the way the wild wind blows sound around. You better marry another wife, Shade, Daniel's closest sibling, said. Your wife is a man. She has no ovaries in her. Hence, she does not belong to the other room. I will not give you babies that you need. Even Shegun, Daniel's best friend, encouraged him to have a secret second wife. If you are so scared of your wife, he said, you can secretly marry a second wife. You can house her on your farm in Ayekade village. No one would know about it. You need a woman who can bear you children. A woman who can keep you warm in the other room. But Daniel did not consider any of these advice. He would rather wait on the Lord. So when this frail baby arrived after 26 years of marriage, Daniel triumphantly carried her up and determined in his heart to give her the very best he could afford to. To the surprise of many, instead of dying, Abigail, Daniel's daughter, grew to become a strong, beautiful young woman. Her father insisted on having her get an education, making her one of the very first 6 girls in Abeokuta to get a secondary education. After her high school education at Abeokuta Grammar School, she worked as a teacher. She triumphed by starting the first preschool classes and literary classes for low-income women in her community. After listening to her mother talk about the ills she suffered from her in-laws due to delayed childbirth, and from society because she was a woman and belonged to the other room, Abigail went on to found what was called the Abeokuta Women Union. The Abeokuta Women Union fought for women's rights across the city of Abeokuta. Abigail became so popular that she was nicknamed the Lioness of Lisabi. From fighting for the rights of women, Abigail began to lead marches and protests. At the time, the Alake of Egbaland decided to unfairly impose taxes on women. Women must pay more taxes, the Alake said. Women belong to the other room. If they decide to trade, then they should pay more taxes. But what do you think, my chiefs? None of the chiefs could disagree with the Alake. However, the women of Abeokuta disagreed. Led by the Abeokuta Women's Union, the women of Abeokuta flooded the streets in protest. They wrote a letter and petition to the British authorities, asking the Director General of Lagos then to remove the Alake of Egbaland and alter the taxes. Unfortunately, the British authorities did not take them serious. Abigail and the union started having public protests every day. Because of this, the union was disbarred from holding protests. They cancelled their rights to hold protests, and because of this, the police actually stepped in. What Abigail and her union did next was to say they were no longer holding protests, but rather they would be holding what they called picnics. So they got meals, they got mats, and they laid them out on the grass outside of the Alake's palace. Of course, this was becoming dangerous because now not just women were protesting, men too joined the protest because, hey, who does not like protests with beautiful women? When the protests were becoming too large, the police stepped in and started firing tear gas canisters at the women. But the women were not deterred. Now they moved away from just asking for the taxes to be repealed to actually asking that they needed more female representation on the Executive Council of Abeokuta. This became so much trouble that the Alake of Egbaland had to temporarily abdicate the throne. As Abigail's political influence grew, she took part in the Nigerian independence movement. She started attending conferences, joining overseas delegations to discuss the proposed national constitution for the new country to be called Nigeria. Abigail spearheaded the creation of the Nigerian Women's Union and the Federation of Nigerian Women's Society. She advocated for the right of the woman to vote, and she became a noted member of the International Peace and Women's Rights movement. Fearing a global influence and possible communist ideologies, the British authorities refused to renew her passport when it was due for renewal. They thought it was best to keep her caged within the confines of Nigeria. At the time, she was invited to the United States of America to speak at the conference, but the US government refused her visa 2 times. This woman became the first Nigerian woman to run for an election. Though she did not win, she encouraged several people to get involved in politics. To appreciate her contribution to education in Nigeria, she was awarded with the national honor of the Order of the Naija. This woman in this story, called Abigail, is that woman that you popularly know as Funmilayo Ransom Kuti. She was the first woman in Nigeria to ride a car. Unfortunately, in 1978, Funmilayo Ransom Kuti was killed when over 1,000 soldiers invaded her son's house and threw her off from the building. Funmi lived and died for Nigeria. In celebrating Nigeria's independence, let us remember our unsung heroes who fought for the independence that we enjoy today. Let us recall that women do not only belong to the other room, nay, women own the rooms. And yes, women can triumph in any field of endeavor. Over to you, Madam Contest Chair. Thank you.
Toastmaster Kayode. For a moment, I was almost going to protest that women do not belong to the other room, but you just hit the nail on the head by correcting that impression. That was a fantastic speech there by TM Kayode. DTM Kayode, I'm sorry about that. I didn't have to reduce you back to what you are not. And I'm sure we all had a fantastic time. I had so much fun listening to these speeches, and I thank you all for having me. I hand over the control of the meeting back to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Toastmaster of the day.
Yes, we've handed over the control to the Toastmaster of the day. Is it there?
Can you hear me? Confirm.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you. Toastmaster Senator, our timer. Toastmaster Senator.
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. Please, can you give us an update on the time the prepared speech speakers actually use for their speeches?
Okay. For the prepared speeches,
yes.
The first speaker, CM Ian, used 6 minutes, 56 seconds. The second speaker, CM Odupe, used 7 minutes, 38 seconds, while the third speaker, the TM Kayode, used 7 minutes, 24 seconds. Thank you very much. Over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much. That means, unfortunately, Toastmaster Modupe has been disqualified from being voted for because she spoke beyond her allotted time. We can vote for the first speaker and the third speaker. Let the poll please come up. We'll have about a minute to decide who we feel our better speaker was for the two that are qualified before we dive into the networking portion of this meeting. Let the poll please come up and choose who you felt was your better speaker between the first speaker, Toastmaster Inya. Yeah, there we go. Please vote. Oh, this may be a bit painful. That means the co-host, we are so sorry, you're not going to be able to vote. Terribly sorry. I can see that only 49 people are going to have the privilege of voting for the better speaker. Let's vote. We have just about 40 seconds left. Keep the votes coming in. I know some of us love food. If they bribe you with food, it's at your discretion. If they bribe you with giving you some dancing classes or a car, whatever they decided to use, if you like their voice, it's up to you. Use that to vote for who you felt was the better speaker. Once that's done, we're going to be going into the networking portion of the meeting. And in that portion of the meeting, I'll encourage you to please take down numbers, actually ask questions, and what's more important, follow up. It's easy to meet people. It's exciting to meet new people. New things are always wow or inspiring, but the relationship takes work. It takes effort. That is where you actually get the diamond. That is where you get the results that you need to improve yourself, to improve the country. I think at this point, our Zoom master, do we need a few seconds to conclude, or are we done? So we can go to the networking portion of the meeting, because I'm itching to meet new people. Zoom master? Our Zoom master for the day, are you there, please?
I think we're good to go.
Okay, so please, we can conclude then. Let's end the poll and split us up into our rooms so we can meet new people. Please put me with people I don't know, by the way, not with people I already know and communicate with on a daily basis, out of my selfish needs. We're going into different breakout rooms. Let's network, let's meet people. We have about 10 minutes, I believe. I don't know if they're going to make the time less than that. So once you're placed there, please speak up, get to know more people. If they're guests, if they're Toastmasters, people you think you have been in touch with, but you failed to do it, this is your opportunity to actually
And it's all mine. in the rain as the clouds go gray. The thunder roars and the earth sings. The season's just beginning. Sunlight it hides as the clouds make way. For the pouring of my blessings, I will not be afraid. I see it now, I understand, I know. So I embrace it, dance. In the rain, it's for my seed to grow. For every prayer and every seed I've sown, Lord of the harvest knows I'm reaping back 100-fold. The land is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green. Can't you see? The harvest is ready, 'cause the Lord of the harvest told me so. It's green for me. It's green for me. Standing alone can be a heavy load, but my vows I won't be breaking. Though my heart is aching, got a word and I won't let go. It's your will I'm seeking, oh, I keep on believing. I see now, I understand, I know, so I embrace it. And once again, it's time for me to grow. For every prayer and every tear I've sown, Lord of the harvest knows I'm reaping joy 100-fold. The land is green, green, oh, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green. Can't you see the harvest? 'Cause the Lord of the harvest told me so. It's green for me. I thought it was over, I thought you're done with me. We're just beginning, walk this journey. I will walk with you, I will die. The land is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, green. Can't you see? I can't see. Oh, the harvest is ready, 'cause he told me so. It's green and it's all mine.
Welcome back, everyone. We apologize. I understand. It's when we start getting to know each other, we're enjoying the back and forth, and all of a sudden something pops up. You have 1 minute, and I don't even think it lasted up to 1 minute. Kicked us out of the room. I hope you got each other's contacts. I did, and I'm definitely going to keep in touch. And for those of you that were in my breakout room, if I don't, you can hold me accountable and report me to the room. Moving right along, 46. Is there a breakout room I'm missing? I hope many people did not leave. I'll make the assumption that this is all, hopefully, or maybe most. And we're going to proceed. There was something very important that we're not able to do at the beginning, and that was to get our district directors addressed. Dear Toastmasters and guests, it is my privilege to say that I see the district director in the room. Now I need to confirm that he is. Dear district director, are you please in the room? We want to hear you. Oh, yes, you've unmuted, so yes, you are. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a virtual round of applause, welcome to give his address, the district director, my first mentor at Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmaster Patrick Oluyide.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster John. It's always very difficult to know who is mentoring the other person. I guess you're ahead of me this time around. It's a pleasure being here indeed. And I would like to recognize the presence of our Premier District Governor, Governor Mike Omotosho, and our past District Director, Inam Wilson. I would also like to recognize and appreciate the efforts of our division directors and the area directors, the leaders, and everybody present in the room. I can confirm that this event, it's already a triumphant one. It's a great event, and it's worthy of the celebration that we have given to it. In fact, I could hear DTM Coyote smoking to the extent that he was saying, calling the contest chair. As far as he was concerned, he was preparing for the contest. That's a sign that the event was nicely prepared for. Congratulations. It's not every day Nigerians gather together under the green, white, green flag. So you could say that as it is, Nigeria is 61. And oftentimes we get mixed feelings. This is not where we're supposed to be, and so on. But today I'd like to remind you that a country is not a person. You would expect that when you are at 61, you must be an accomplished person. But when a country is at 61, you may not compare that country with a person. And that's why I would like to say that independence or freedom is not a destination, it's a journey. And as a nation, we are actually traveling on this journey. So now that we have gathered here to tell our stories, I think our stories as Nigerians should not be the one that demands what Nigeria is going to give to us or what we should expect from Nigeria. Our stories should be the one that tells what we're going to give to Nigeria. Nigeria is and will be built by the Nigerians. I have a good news for you. Toastmasters brings in that ray of hope that Nigeria is looking for. And those who are around me would have come across this particular statement that I'm used to making, that we are not in Toastmasters just for Toastmasters' sake. We're in Toastmasters so that we can transform the world. Our being in Toastmasters becomes of no value if the world where we live does not become a better place. So my question today is, in what way am I making Nigeria a better place? It makes a lot of sense to point fingers to other people. In fact, it's justifiable to do that. But if we're searching in our own very little ways, we could actually contribute so much to the greatness of a country that by its own creation and by its own formation, it's actually great. We're just waiting for the manifestation of that greatness. And that won't happen if we, the people who are in the country, do not transform ourselves. And that's why Toastmasters is in the business of making leaders. You would agree with me, of course, let's talk about Nigeria today, that if Nigeria is deprived of something, it's that quality leadership. And Toastmasters is the place where leaders are made. And I would always like to add, it's not just a place where leaders are made, it's a place where leaders make themselves. So the challenge today for each and every one of us is to constantly ask, as a Toastmaster and a Nigerian, how am I going to transform this country? And it may not necessarily be by changing the world overnight, maybe by not littering the streets from your car when you drive, because our cars are clean, but we find it comfortable to drop dirt onto the street. That it's enough a corner to change the country. So let's each of us begin to ponder on how we can be that change agent. And I'll close by telling you that Toastmaster has all it takes to help this country wear the new look that we're all looking for. The question is, are we ready to take on the challenge? I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to share with you today. This event, as I said, it's a beautiful one. And I congratulate each and every one of us for the opportunity to celebrate together. So let's celebrate triumphantly and have a beautiful Independence Day celebration. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Dear Toastmasters and guests, please can we give the District Director a virtual round of applause? Our District Director, if you were not able to join us on this call, I would have been pained because I got so much from that short speech. We need to take heed to your advice and transform this nation using what Toastmasters is giving us. It has been a triumphant meeting thus far. And in case I forget, please, the organizers, we need to have more things like this that lift up Nigeria. Dear Toastmasters and guests, if you have not been reading the chat box, please read it to see how triumphant that networking portion was. People are connecting, they're asking for numbers. I love it. This is why we do what we do. So it's actually effective. It yields results. People should be calling each other brother and sister because they met here today. 10 years from now, 20 years from now. But let's move on. Are we ready for the next table topics portion of the meeting? You know that beautiful woman you saw, I introduced, you didn't hear her speak? This is the time to hear her speak. Those of you that were weeping when you were not chosen for the first table topics, this is your opportunity to speak. I am looking forward to listening to you. With a virtual round of applause, please let's welcome to the lectern our table topics master, Toastmaster Juliet Okene.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, my brother man. Toastmaster John. I was going to complain that you introduced me and I started smiling. I've not been smiling since I was triumphantly removed from that breakout session where I was connecting with my brother from another part of the country. So that's my feedback, right? I couldn't speak because I was on it. All right, another section, table topics again. For those who escaped, we are here again. There's probably no escaping this time. So to save time, did somebody just say TM Juliet, are you volunteering? Oh, the person sent me a private chat. I will read the private chat. I love you so much, TM Juliet. Is it? It's not true, guys. Calm down, calm down, calm down. All right. So do I have any volunteers? Let me give you the volunteers the honor. Do I have any volunteers in the house? Tiam Pogbe again. Wow, wow. Tiam Pogbe, thank you. Any more? I need more Nigerians to volunteer, please. I have a list. Thank you, Tiam Wale. Thank you, Tiam. The ladies, I didn't want to be a feminist. Come on, I just need one lady volunteer, please. Please, just one lady, just do me the honors. While I wait for the ladies to come on, I will share my screen and I would give TM Pogbe the very first question. TM John, let me know when you see my screen so I can show the question.
I can see your screen.
Awesome. TM Pogbe. Madam. TM Pogbe, can you see my screen? This is your question. Or the picture of your question.
Master.
Okay.
Yes, please.
I would suggest we give them TM Pogbe and Toastmaster Wale give room for people who have not spoken before to attempt your questions in this table topic session.
All right. So question I have, ma'am. What if I don't have volunteers? So do I get to pick people who haven't spoken?
Somebody's hand is up.
Okay.
I would suggest we give them TM Pogbe and Toastmaster Wale for people who have not spoken before. So Toastmaster Nduke is here and she's willing to speak. Nduke Osoro.
Toastmaster Unduke, I didn't get that name, I'm sorry.
Yes, please, Toastmaster Nduke. Unfortunately, my camera will not be on because I'm in transit, but I can speak.
No problem, that is fine for me. So Toastmaster Ian, I'm going to come to you next. Ladies first, even in Toastmasters meeting. So let the ladies go. So please look at this picture. Can you see the picture?
Yes, I can.
So this is your question. When you look at this picture, what thoughts comes to your heart and your mind? When you look at this picture, what thoughts comes to your heart and your mind? The lectern is yours.
Thank you, Table Topics Master. This picture, I can see green, I can see white. And that tells me this is Nigeria. And it's painted over the shape love. Love means a lot to me. And I believe that if I can show love in a country called Nigeria, I can go a long way to make Nigeria a better place. Today, I was in transit. I needed to fly from Abuja to Akwa Ibom. As I got on the queue, there were other people behind me that needed to get on their flight and their time was running out. And a number of them begged, can I go ahead of you? And the man by the door said, no, you can't. People have to go on their queue. And I said, sir, please, I have more time, let them go. And the lady stopped by and like, such love. I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize it's love. I just think that's what every patriotic citizen should do. So that goes to say that if I am patriotic in Nigeria, I should show love to my fellow Nigerians. Toastmasters and guests, we triumphantly entered October. And there we are, here we are. It is the 61st year as we gained independence. What can we do? Let's be patriotic. Let's show leadership. Love can be shown through leadership. Table topics, Master.
A round of applause for this amazing woman, Tia Munduke. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We need love at this time. And as Nigerians, we can triumph over any issues if we but love ourselves. Thank you so, so much. Thank you. Next volunteer, I'm going to call on TM Iyang, please.
Here I am.
Iyang. Awesome. I'm going to share my screen
here.
again. I'm going to share my screen again. Let me know when you can see my screen.
You can see your screen.
Awesome. So I want you to take a very good look at this pants, the trousers worn by the president, just the trousers, not the security man, not just the trousers, right? These trousers recently broke the internet. The president went to Imo State, he went to Owerri precisely, and he dressed like this, but the trousers made the news, all blogs, all news. Now I want you to give feedback to the tailors that made these trousers. As a Toastmaster, what would be your feedback to the tailor of the president's trousers? The lectern is yours, please.
Thank you very much, the Table Topics Master. There's a saying that the way you dress is the way you're going to be addressed. But luckily, I'm not going to be addressing the person wearing this outfit. I'll be addressing the person who has designed and made these outfits. So, Mr. Taylor, I want to commend you first of all because of my nature or my disposition as a Toastmaster, one that understands what it is to commend you for doing a great job. At least you did well not to sew shorts for our president. And I appreciate the fact that you actually chose the right color somewhat to match the top, the milk trouser to match the milk part of the top of the outfit Mr. President was wearing. But I haven't commended you this much, especially with the fact that you chose a style, paying attention to perhaps the time or the period when Mr. President was born. But I would like to recommend to you that perhaps next time you want to be mindful of the fact that we are no longer in the 1960s, and you will be deliberate about making sure you actually get to measure, use your tape to measure the right size for Mr. President. Apart from this, I will also crave your indulgence that you'll try as much as possible to seal a little bit of the bottom of those trousers. I understand it could be a great thing to want to bring back some old fashion, the bell bottom, but I know that this was definitely created a lot of uproar. And in order to avoid such embarrassing situations next time, you want to be deliberate to get the right measurement. Having said all of this, I really appreciate you for taking our time to sew such a wonderful outfit for Mr. President, and I look forward to the next trouser you're going to be sewing. Thank you very much. The Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Yemi. I was just laughing, and I was just laughing at the fact that you kept a straight face while giving your feedback to this amazing tailor who we have failed to mention. The guy would have made money if he had done a good job, I suppose, with all the viral attention that he got. Thank you so much for that feedback. I pray the tailor gets to see this video on YouTube. Now to our last and definitely not our least speaker, I'm going to call on TM Chinwe. You volunteered in the chat room to speak. Let me know when you can see. Yes, this is for TM Chinwe. Chinwe Asuzu. TM Chinwe, please.
Good evening, Table Topics Master.
I love the energy.
I'm not sure I raised my hand, but it's fine. I'll give it a try. Except you're taking me for someone else.
Your name was in the chat room as someone I should pick, so maybe you did not opt. Do you want to go ahead or go ahead?
I will.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, I want you to take a good look at the screen. All the countries on this screen gained their independence in the year 1960, all of them. All these are countries formerly under colonial rule, but they gained their independence in 1960. Now your question, if you had a choice to choose your nationality, which amongst this country would it be? If you had a choice to choose your nationality, which country here will you choose? The lecture is yours, please.
This is putting me on the spot. If I had a choice to choose my nationality, which would I choose? Sincerely, no name here strikes a chord. I am not sure I want to live in any of those countries. Possibly because maybe we think Africa could do better, or Africa is a third world country, but none of these countries strikes a chord for me. I wouldn't want to be in any of those countries. But having said that, I need to make it known that it is not because I do not think that they are worthwhile for the citizens of this country, of these countries, but because I also know that my country, Nigeria, has the capacity to be so much more than it is right now. There is so much we have in Nigeria. We have the natural resources, we have the human resources, and above all, we have the ability to express ourselves to a large extent. It is in Nigeria that you're able to walk along the road and you find the woman roasting corn, and you stop your car, you buy your corn, you buy your pear, and you enjoy it. For me, that is freedom, and that is an ability for self-expression beyond what you can find anywhere except where you call home. So as simple as this might be, I hold it dear in my heart because Nigeria can really be worth so much more if we, as Toastmasters, which is the reason for our interaction today, rise up to take up leadership, rise up to do things in our own little way, in our little corners, the much we can in our spaces. And hopefully someday it will become the country of our dream, where we are able to do so much and be so much. And then also have people come into Nigeria, whether as tourists, whether as immigrants, and we all have a nice time together. Thank you very much, Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, TM Chinwe, for that, for transparency and for honesty. Most of us would have just chosen Nigeria and gone ahead with table topic, but you chose to be honest, and we respect your choice. And I say amen to the last part of your speech where you prayed that this country should be honorable and people from all over the world would wish to own our green passport. I think that would be a triumphant stage or phase for this great nation. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your topic master for today, number 2. At this point, I'll hand over back to the Toastmaster of the day, my handsome brother who is always smiling, TM John.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Juliet. Please can we give her a virtual round of applause for anchoring that triumphant table topics portion of the meeting. Dear Toastmasters and guests, what country were all the speakers from? If anyone knows, can you just type in the chat box? What country, please? I know not everyone might know, but those of us who know, please type in the chat box. What country? Yes, Nigeria. Look, when people ask you, what do you have to be proud of? You can just point at any of the speakers and you don't need to say anything else. Quality, quality. But before we proceed, timer, please, can you give us feedback on how much time they used for their table topic speeches?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. TMOD. I want to say big congratulations to all the speakers for their excellent speech. The speaker one, CM Unduke, she used 1 minute 46 seconds. CM Ian used 2 minutes 22 seconds, while Toastmaster Shinwe used 2 minutes and 44 seconds. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, the timer. Yeah, Toastmasters and guests, I was about to start dancing when he said 2 minutes, and I thought maybe all the speakers would have kept the time, but unfortunately, we still had one that was disqualified. We apologize. We can only vote for the first two speakers. Can we please have the poll? Vote for who you felt was the better of the first two speakers, because the final speaker was disqualified based on time. The poll will be coming up, and we have about a minute to make our decision, and then we can proceed. The poll is now up. Please, let's vote. Who you felt was the better of the two speakers that we had, who qualified in the table topics portion of the meeting. We have about 40 more seconds to conclude. With a click of a button, your vote actually counts. Someone is going to be named victorious. If you don't vote, you can't complain that how did that person win? It's because you didn't vote. One vote actually counts. Please, let's vote. We have about 20 more seconds. The reason I'm giving the seconds is because I'm eager to go to the panel session of this meeting, and you will know why very soon. Yes, your votes are coming in. Let's vote, let's vote. Those of us that are actually present and not just signed in and we've gone to eat or we've gone to nap or doing something else. If you're there, please vote. Yeah, I like to believe that we are done at this point. You will know who the victor was at the end of the meeting. Dear Toastmasters and guests, we're now moving on to the panel session of the meeting. To anchor this panel session is someone that we fondly know as the English doctor. He is the Vice President Education of Merit Toastmasters Club, and he helps school children and professionals achieve eloquence in English communication. Toastmasters and guests, we're usually encouraged to have visions of what we want to be like, write them down, see them on a regular basis. But some of us know that certain visions, there's no point because we're not going to reach there. I have no vision of being like this man. I respect him tremendously, but I know I'm not going to get there. So there's no vision in my mind to be like him. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a virtual round of applause, welcome the panel moderator for the panel session, Toastmaster Craig Esorde. Over to you, our English doctor.
Mr. Toastmaster, thank you most graciously for the triumphant magnificence of your introduction. Toastmasters and guests, if you can hear me, please give me the thumbs up like this. All right, thank you very kindly for the feedback. Just a couple of days ago, I was reading a book and suddenly I stumbled on an intriguing, provocative quotation originated by John Maxwell, the renowned American author. Leadership is not about titles, positions, or flowcharts. It is about one life influencing another. In that connection, I welcome you all to this panel discussion, which will triumphantly focus on leadership development in synchronization with Nigeria's 61st independence anniversary. And guess what? I have three eloquent panelists who are going to share their insights with us on a silver platter. The first panelist is distinguished Toastmaster Mike Omotosho. Mike is the pioneer governor of District 94. He has a predilection for helping professionals to be the leaders and speakers of their dreams. And funnily enough, he is fondly called Big Mike. Our next panelist is distinguished Toastmaster Titi Logbe Ojo. Titi is a business consultant and a serial entrepreneur. Titi has an extensive range of skills together with expertise. She is triumphantly enthusiastic about social entrepreneurship and community development. And last but not least, I'd like to present to you panelist number 3, Toastmaster Inam Wilson. He is a past district director. Additionally, he is a lawyer, a coach, and a mentor to a plethora or a panoply of Toastmasters clubs. It is of paramount significance for me to mention at this juncture that each panelist has 2 minutes to respond to the first and second questions and 1 minute to reply to the final question. I'm going to start with Big Mike. Sir, what in your view is the most suitable leadership style for a multi-ethnic country like Nigeria?
Thank you, Coach Craig. Well, contrary to the clamor for democracy, particularly with the trashing of dictatorship all over the world, I am persuaded to believe that we are not right for democracy in Nigeria. So if you ask me, I will suggest a leadership style with a panoply, borrowing your word, of annotations, something that people have called democratic dictatorship or autocratic democracy. In fact, this is akin to what Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore described as benevolent dictatorship. This is a situation where a group of people will come together, select a group of leaders, and then allow the leaders do what they deem fit. I am tempted at this point to borrow a very infamous quote that says that a diplomat is someone who tells you to go to hell in such a way that you look forward to the trip. So we need a leadership style that will get us off the spinning wheel so that we can make some progress. We need a leadership style that will stop excusing our political leaders as accidental leaders and ill-prepared, despite the plethora of advisors that are available for them. We need a leadership style that will be more broadly distributed in such a way that our political rights will encourage each and every one of us to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that government is making available. It's important to mention at this point quickly that economic institutions actually shape economic incentives. And for these incentives to become useful.
Big Mike, permit me to mention that what you're saying is that Nigeria needs a leadership style that will get us off the spinning wheel. I would like to hear the views of Toastmaster Inam Wilson. What is your perspective in regard to the leadership style that we need for a culturally diverse country such as Nigeria?
Thank you, panel moderator, Toastmaster Greg, and thank you, fellow panelists. I believe that the leadership style that will work for a country like Nigeria is one that is autochthonous. Autochthonous is a phrase that you use to show that something designed for a particular place in Nigeria, we'll call it a country, that takes into consideration its uniqueness and its diversity. We've fallen into the trap over the years of borrowing leadership styles from across the globe. And that hasn't helped us because we import leadership styles into a culture that is different, into a mentality that is different. The Nigerian is a unique individual. The Nigerian you will not find anywhere in the world. In our own uniqueness, we have to develop our own unique culture. But there are certain principles that can lend itself to leadership, whatever culture it is. And I found those principles in Toastmasters. And I'll just try to highlight one or two. One of them is leadership comes with value, is based on values. If we take the Toastmasters values of respect, integrity, service, and excellence, if you interpose that on any leadership style, it will produce excellent results. And then in Toastmasters, we give feedback. We do not criticize. Feedback enhances the positive and gives whoever we're giving feedback to that sense of not being put on the defensive, but also drawing out the positives. I think I see the red light up, and I would like to respect the time.
All right, thank you very kindly. I learned from your response that we need two principles. One, leadership comes with values, and then we need feedback as well. I'd like to go straight to distinguished Toastmaster Tilokwe. I'd like to hear your views, ma'am, in regards to the stories that we ought to be sharing in our communication. There are stories ranging from unemployment, graft or corruption and insecurity to strength, resilience, unity. What stories do you think we should be sharing in our communication?
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Wow, there's so much stories of despair right now, I must tell you. In fact, most of our young people are hearing, what they hear every day is, they're just stories that make them lose hope in the country. And like Chimamanda, there was a speech she gave, The Danger of a Single Story. If we choose to continue to give one side of the story of Nigeria to just coming up, and we keep telling them the bad sides, the bad things going on, the corruption, the killings, if that's what they hear every day, they become that thing that they keep hearing. That's the danger. That's the danger. So I believe now, for us to change the narrative in Nigeria, we need to reprogram ourselves. And there's a way to reprogram. It's through communication. It's about what we hear, telling us that there's hope, telling us that it has happened before. Our hospitals are the best in the world. For crying out loud, Nigeria was the third country in the world to own a TV, to have a TV station, WNTV those days, for crying third in the world. We celebrate a number of firsts. Our hospitals were the best, the University College Hospital, our universities were the best. Most of our youth don't even know anything close to this. There's a mentee of mine, I spoke to him about some certain things at a point, and he was surprised. I said, yes, this is the Nigeria that you're in. These things have happened before. And right now, the change that we're looking for, we are that change. We also need to tell that story. We need to communicate that. The change we're looking for is not, like you point one finger to someone, 4 is pointing back at you. You should be the change that you seek.
we can disrupt the evil in the land right now. That's what I think we can. But nobody wants to do anything. Everybody feels the change should come from the president, it should come from a governor. But we forgot to remember, we keep forgetting the fact that in every sphere that we are right now operating, whether in our schools, in our offices, we have the change. If we begin to get that change one person at a time, we'll get back Nigeria, we'll get Nigeria back on its feet. So the communication should be a communication of hope. We should change the narrative. Nigeria, good people, great nation. I remember that slogan, but
Right. It must be a communication of hope, and that is insightful. I would like to go back to Big Mike. Big Mike, you are an accomplished pharmacist. The resident doctors have been on strike for 2 months now exactly over delayed payments of salaries and allowances. How do you think we can nip this type of story in the bud?
Thank you, moderator. I'm certain most of us have seen the abysmal video of the recruitment of doctors, I think at the Sheraton, or was it at Transcorp sometime last month or so, to Saudi Arabia. Even at that, I'm bedazzled that a senior medical practitioner, a former governor, and a serving minister of our dear country will dismiss the brain drain as not being relevant. I say this because countries like Germany, Spain, even Italy have about 160 doctors to 40,000 people. Even in the UK and US, they have about 120 to 40,000 doctors. In contradistinction, guess how many we have in Nigeria? One, just one, to 40,000 people. It's totally unacceptable. And what are these doctors complaining about? They complain basically about three things. First, the conditions of service, non-availability of PPEs, that's private protective equipment and other tools, and then poor pay. Consequently, for me, I think the solutions are obvious. Let's give them better conditions of service. Let's improve their workplace safety by making those protective equipment available. And more importantly, let's ensure that their take-home pay truly takes them home. And please don't imagine that we cannot afford to do all of this. It's simply because it's not a priority to us at the moment. And why am I saying this? In our country, we are building a refinery and a railroad to another country. We can afford to do that. This is a country where our doctors earn about 1.2 million to 12 million naira per annum. That is about $2,000 or at most $20,000. Compare that to between 200,000 and 500,000 US dollars in Canada or US. This is a country where we pay our lawmakers an average of about $200,000 every month. That's about what a US lawmaker makes every year. I mean, we don't have an excuse. The list is endless. For me, health is wealth. And that's what we all say. In the light of this, our prosperity, I'll just round up, our prosperity as a nation rests upon the personal financial prosperity for each of us as individuals.
All right, thank you very kindly, Big Mike. I would like Toastmaster Inam to respond to what the Mike Omatosho just mentioned. What's your response, please? React to it, please.
Thank you very much. I'm not a doctor, so I can't react to the statistics, but I'm a Toastmaster, and I was privileged to be the vice president in charge of marketing under Mike, the governor in charge of marketing under Mike during his administration as governor. I recall that at the end of his tenure, District 94 was #1 in the world. And I'll use that as my own way of making the point. We were number one in the world, not because we were the largest district in the world. By statistics, we were number one. But we were number one in spite of all our challenges and difficulties. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, challenges and difficulties will never end in the country. But we can control the communication. If I say to you that Toastmasters is where leaders are made, that is positive. But when you come into Toastmasters, you will meet challenges and difficulties. If when we look for Toastmasters, we go out selling the challenges and difficulties, nobody is going to be a Toastmaster. But we sell the positives, which is Toastmasters enables you to become a better person, become a better leader, become a better communicator. They don't tell you that you have to do sleepless nights preparing your speeches. That's a challenge. They will not tell you that you have to make personal sacrifices. That's a challenge. That it involves financial sacrifices. That is a challenge. We don't promote our challenges. We promote our positives. And that is how it is in a country. We have to promote our positives while we deal with our challenges and our difficulties, and we'll become a so much better country.
All right, thank you very kindly for that. We don't promote our challenges, we promote our positives. Thank you most graciously for your perception. Ladies and gentlemen, I've observed fastidiously of late that the price of foodstuffs has astronomically increased. The price of gari, beans, and rice. Titi, you have a vast understanding of the agricultural value chain. How do you think we can nip this type of challenge in the bud in subsequent times?
Well, thanks for that. I think this is the time of adversity, food insecurity in Nigeria, which for me, adversity teaches us to be creative. It helps us to become innovative. Great businesses were born out of adversity, a lot of great businesses. So I feel this is a time for Nigeria to look inwards and say, what can we do differently? Now, of course, the insecurity issue has to be dealt with very seriously. That has to be dealt with. But this also gives us options. Are there other ways we could also grow our food? Does it have to always be the farmers going to the farm? Can we find alternatives? Alternatives could be even hobby farming, farming at home. Many of us have lands at our backyards that are wasting. Well, you could grow vegetables there and somehow contribute to the food basket of the nation. We can all do this. We can all be part of this, contribute to the food basket of the nation. So that's one thing. We have different forms of farming. We have urban farming. We have hydroculture, where you don't have soil. It's soilless farming. So this is a time we should get creative, if you ask me. Because adversity is where we live. We become creative in adversity. And I want Nigeria not to waste this. Let's not waste this opportunity. For us, there's always an opportunity in adversity. And this has come to us. Yes, I want us to think of it positively as well, while we challenge the government to find a way to end insecurity. Because farmers can't also go to the farms, and there's scarcity. And that's why prices are high. That's why.
All right. Wow. Thank you very much for that. We are out of time. As a result of that, I would like you to respond to this final question in just 30 minutes for all three panel members. And the question is, would you consider restructuring as a way of transforming Nigeria? Mike, first, 30 seconds, please.
Well, to restructure or not restructure is not our problem for me. Either way works for us to be triumphant as a nation, really, if you ask me. The bulk of our problems is caused by us as a person, because most times we have forgotten what our values are, like Inam said. So we forgo social responsibility. And apparently it's this lack of social responsibility that breeds selfishness and hostility. Please tell me, which part of the country don't you have policemen at checkpoints collecting 100 naira from bus drivers? Which part of the country don't you have contractors who collect mobilization and never complete the job? So for me,
Michael, thank you very much. 30 seconds is already up.
Okay.
All right, thank you very kindly for that. Inam Wilson, what are your thoughts, please, in regard to restructuring and transformation?
Every Nigerian, you and I, need restructuring and transformation. Restructuring of our minds, our mindset, our thinking, our culture, our attitude, our disposition. I have to say to myself, every day I have to do good to one person. In 365 days, I will do good to 365 people. That will be transformational. So you restructure yourself, everybody restructure himself, and we'll be a restructured country. Thank you.
Thank you very kindly.
Okay.
In 30 seconds.
In my view, the current structure we have is not working because power is so focused, it's concentrated at the center. It doesn't work that way. Can we give power to the states? Let the states begin to run their own economies and become self-sufficient. What about the third tier, the local governments? They are the ones closer to the people, and they can do so much with the people. So I feel that power should go back there. And that's what it is in the Constitution anyway. We're not just obeying it.
All right, thank you. Thank you very kindly to our insightful panelists and to our organizers and to you, our attentive audience. Long may Nigeria continue to reign supreme. It's back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, panel moderator and our panelists. Can we give them a virtual round of applause? It's not easy to have a panelist that they have so much to say and you're able to organize it in such a short time. Thank you so much. We're moving on to the last portion of this meeting, evaluation, and I'll be handing control over to the general evaluator of the meeting. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a virtual round of applause, please welcome back to our screens, Toastmaster Ejura. Over to you, the general evaluator. You're still muted. Please, let's make Toastmaster. Okay, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening again. Good evening once again, Toastmasters and guests. And I am back to host the session where we give evaluations for every aspect of the meeting. The Toastmaster of the day in the beginning introduced various evaluators that will be evaluating the speech segments, the table topics, and the listening segment. So I'll be calling on the evaluators now to come and give their reports. And the first role player would be the first evaluator for the first speaker, Toastmaster Tari Adebisi. Toastmaster Tari, are you there?
Yes, I am. Please confirm you can hear me.
I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good evening, Toastmasters and guests. It's been a long but very rewarding and interesting day in this meeting. So thank you very much for having me. My name is Toastmaster Tari from Pecton Toastmasters, and I will be giving feedback for the first session of table topics that we had earlier today. Like we say, feedback is the breakfast of champions. And so we're going to give feedback to each of the three persons that spoke in the first session of the table topics. I was going to ask for the timer's report, but Toastmaster of the day, John Onumuya, beat me to it initially and disqualified 2 out of those 3 people. And he did that with a triumphant smile on his face. But nonetheless, I'll go ahead and give the feedback for the 3 of them. So our first speaker was Toastmaster Anthony Pogbe. Toastmaster Anthony Pogbe. And then thank you again to the Table Topics Master. You did a great job with that, the way the questions were arranged and picked with the alphabets that form the word Nigeria. So Toastmaster Anthony picked the letter A. The question was, what do you love most about being a Nigerian? I think you did a great job, Toastmaster Anthony. I do hope you're still on this call, but the feedback is not just for him, it's for every one of us to actually learn. He did a great job. I love that his video was on, first of all, even though this is a virtual meeting. I mean, a lot of people actually hide behind the cameras, but I love that he put on his video. I love the way he spoke with passion, with enthusiasm, the fact that he repeated the question to probably buy a little bit of time and then went ahead to answer the question. I love the way he introduced what he was going to talk about. He said, what I love most about being in Nigeria is the fact that we have human resources, rich human resources in the country. And he went ahead and told us 2 stories which were the body of his speech. He told us about the conversation he had with his American colleague, and then he went ahead and told us another story of the Nigerian doctor in diaspora that made groundbreaking headlines with the surgery he performed. I think these were very rich stories. I think it went well with it was good content for the question he was asked, and I think he actually delivered appropriately. What do I recommend that he could have done better? Of course, we know he was disqualified, so I believe he should have put his eyes on the clock. His eyes should have been on the clock so that he stayed and spoke within time. As Toastmasters, part of our training is actually not just deliver the speech, but actually to deliver the speech within the allotted time given to us. Also, I would have loved a little bit more gestures, hand gestures, facial expression would have been more. At the moment when it said something that had to do with that was exciting, should have shown some emotion, some excitement on his face would have actually added to that quality of speech. But nonetheless, he did well. I'm glad at the thought he put into it, the depth of his discourse. And Toastmaster Anthony Pogbe, I look forward to hearing more from you as the days, weeks, months, years go by. Thank you very much. The second speaker was Toastmaster Wale Thomas. Toastmaster Wale Thomas chose the letter N, and his question was, we all have dreams. Tell us a story of the Nigeria of your dreams. Tell us a story of the Nigeria of your dreams. And this particular question I really love, because I don't think there's anyone here who does not know what he or she wants to see Nigeria become. So thank you, Toastmaster Wale, for diving straight into that question. I loved the way your camera was on. I love the way you stood up in your Arsenal jersey. Very brave of you. I hope the night ends well for Arsenal. Thank you for the way you projected your voice, the passion with which you spoke. That was quite something. And then you started with a quote, which always wins my heart, because I don't think I'm very good with quotes. I think I forget them a lot. But you started with a quote, and I think, what was the quote now? If you said something about no one can terrorize a whole nation unless we are all accomplices. That is one way of actually putting some value or some quality into your speech, starting with a quote, and you did that very well. And then you went ahead and talked about how we could improve our health facilities, our education, we should pay taxes and all of that. You also went ahead to tell us a personal story of the quality of life you had growing up as a child. Personal stories every day, any day, catch the attention of the listeners and of the viewers, and actually help them connect to exactly what it is you are saying. So that was really great. And that made a good part of the body of your speech. And then I would recommend, because you were also disqualified, that you keep your eyes on the timer. I believe you could have ended properly if you actually saw that you were almost out of time, because your ending was a bit abrupt and it was quite obvious. So you would have done better ending with another quote or with a call to action. This is Nigeria of our dreams. This is what we want to see. A call to action would have been really good. But I loved your tenacity. I loved the way you spoke with passion. And I really, really, really do look forward to hearing you speak more. Thank you very much. And then I cannot see the timer, so I'm assuming I'm still within time. I don't know if the timer is on here. Okay, so I'm not disqualified by Madam General Evaluator. Anyway, so the third speaker was Toastmaster Hamid. Hamid, I didn't quite catch your surname. I'm not sure you mentioned it, but your question was, if you were to be Nigeria's president today, what 3 things will you address as a matter of priority and why? What 3 things would you address? Toastmaster Hamid, first of all, kudos to you even stepping up to the lectern, even though you are a guest, you're not yet a Toastmaster. That is really bold of you. Thank you for volunteering and being brave about it as well. You came onto the virtual lectern, you came with boldness, you came with authority, you spoke about the question you were asked. You repeated the question and then you went ahead to tell us what you loved, what you would want to change if you were president for even for a day. You talked about employment or unemployment, you talked about security, NYSC, you talked about raw materials. And you talked about all of them with a smile on your face. You expatiated on some, but not on others. And that was really very good. What I'd like to see you do better, because it's not about just speaking, it's about actually putting some structure to whatever it is you're saying. Since the question was direct, the question says, what 3 things? It would have been lovely for you to say after your introduction, okay, the 3 things I would most want to change about Nigeria if I were president were 1, or firstly, you mention what it is, you expatiate on that. Secondly, you mention what it is, you expatiate on that. Thirdly, you mention what it is, you expatiate on that. That way there is a structure, that way we are able to follow you, and that way we are able to better understand exactly what it is you're talking about. But the content was there, probably would have been better arranged, but awesome delivery. Thank you for looking directly to the camera, smiling, using gestures. That was really commendable, especially for a first-time speaker. We appreciate what you did, and we hope that you will find the club and you will join Toastmasters and you will improve, and we will hear more speeches from you. So I think these were the 3 that I had: Toastmaster Anthony, Toastmaster Wale, and Toastmaster Hamid. I hope I've been able to do justice to this session. I hand back over to Madam General Evaluator. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Terry, for that very detailed evaluation of the first table topic session. Now, moving on, we'll be moving on to the second evaluation of the second table topic session, and that will be handled by Toastmaster Abubakar Gimba. Toastmaster Abubakar, the virtual lecture is yours. Are you there, sir?
Yes, please. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Please, let us start with a round of applause for that session in its entirety. That was well handled. Please, a physical applause or an e-applause. That was well handled. The table topics mistress came on with some sauce today. I would like to commend her for her style of questioning, her innovation, and also the way she put people on the spot. She was actively scanning for victims. Unfortunately for some, fortunately for some, they escaped. So let us dive deep into the evaluations. Because of time, I would make this snappy because there's a bit of a mix-up on the agenda. So Toastmaster Nduke, are you here? I can't. Okay, she ran away. No problem. She will find her evaluation on the link on YouTube. So first of all, she actually started really well. She started with enthusiasm. It's almost as if she was prepared for it. And now I'm suspecting maybe the table topics mistress gave her the questions beforehand, because she started with a story. She went on with the fact that there's no way she can be unpatriotic. She doesn't understand how possible it is for someone not to love their country. And that sort of made us start thinking about different perspective, the fact that you actually have a choice, but when you look into the matter itself, you see that your country is your love. You shouldn't stray away from that, right? She had wonderful vocal variety. The story was very engaging. If you were somewhere in the audience and you're trying to sleep and then you hear her speak, you would actually come back and start thinking to yourself, okay, what is she saying? And I want to hear more. So thank you so much for that, Nduke. Stories for me, they're it. Table topics, prepared speeches, anything that has to do with the story, I'm finished, right? I would have loved to see you with your camera, because I've seen her speak in table topics. I've seen her moderate a session. I've seen her give a prepared speeches, but I've never seen her do a table topics. And I think I'm yet to see you do that. So next time, please switch on your camera. And then finally, you ended with a call to action. So to do that for a table topics just shows how experienced you are. It's difficult enough to think for 2 minutes to say something, let alone do a call of action, but you can just wonderfully by saying that we should all try to, as much as possible, to be patriotic to our country. And thank you so much. That was wonderful. And that's a very fitting speech for this meeting. Thank you so much. Please, let's give her a round of applause. It could be
thank
an
you,
applause.
well received.
Thank you. Toastmaster Iyang. Toastmaster Iyang, you are a fashionista, I believe, because the way you started analyzing that fashion sense, You were looking at the colors, you're looking at the patterns, you're looking at the fact that the tailor did a good job. I also believed you incorporated the sandwich approach for Toastmasters by talking about how good the tailoring was. I commend you for that. I also believe I was laughing all through, but I believe you deliberately wanted to be funny because you kept a straight face and you kind of like just bent your head, looking like you are talking about a very serious matter while in essence you are just trying to make us laugh. So I commend you for that. That just shows experience. I mean, you were a prepared speaker already in the meeting, but when you came on for table topics, you showed us that you have range. So thank you so much. I appreciate you for that. I would love to see more table topics from you. I would have liked to see you made a comment about the president himself. Something along the lines of, Mr. Man, you can just look at the clothes you have to wear now. You don't have to wear them every time someone suggests it for you, you know? Or something like, let's have someone vet the clothes again. You don't have to wear them anytime. Just someone look at you and then, you know, but I would have loved to hear something like that. But your question was addressed to the tailor and you did justice to that topic. Thank you so much. I really wish to see you speak again in table topics. Thank you. Then finally, the Sosa Chinwe, she was a volunteer. Okay, she wasn't a volunteer, but she was forcefully volunteered. So she was nominated, but she still spoke. And I appreciate that really. Sometimes I myself get confused when I'm called to do a table topics because I'm not ready and I'm forced to speak. I'm forced to think on my feet. So thank you so much. You started really well because it seemed as if you were trying to buy time because you went into the speech gradually. You kind of build some suspense around your speech, but we were thinking, okay, what is she going to go with? What direction is she taking? You know, at the beginning of your speech, but you went on talking about the fact that we have goodness in Nigeria. We have resources. We have whatever it takes. So we should try as much as possible to look at that perspective and then try to be better, try to grow. I love the fact that you had a call to action in your speech as well. You are trying to re-engineer our minds that, okay, just because you're a Nigerian doesn't mean it's a bad thing. You come from a glorious place and you should see yourself as that. So thank you so much for that. You were not on time and your camera was switched off. I would have loved to see you so that I can measure your hand gestures, eye contact and all that. But next time, please try to do that and also try to be mindful of time. Thank you so much. At this point, I would hand control back to the general evaluator, please.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Abubakar, for that awesome and amazing feedback. Now we'll be moving on to the speech evaluators, and I'll call on the first evaluator for the first speaker, Toastmaster Natasha Ibori. Toastmaster Natasha Ibori, are you there, please?
Hello, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Hello.
Thank you for this opportunity. I feel like we've had an amazing meeting so far. It's been incredible to hear all of the wonderful speeches and panelists. I will be evaluating Toastmaster Inyang's speech on contradictions. Overall, I felt that this was such a strong speech and I was completely captivated throughout. And that was one of your objectives of the speech. I'd say that you opened very strongly. Despite the slight difficulties, you didn't get distracted. We had somebody's microphone on and then your microphone turned off. Technical challenges that unfortunately can't be avoided every single time. Your camera positioning was excellent. Your volume, you're completely audible. Your gestures were on point and you managed to pause throughout your speech and kept us captivated. That's definitely something that I need to remember to do in my speeches and general speaking overall. You asked us, are contradictions part of our authentic self? And even after the speech, and it's been about an hour, I'm still thinking about that question. It's one of those questions that you don't hear often, and it definitely does stick with you. So the content of your speech also so brilliant. I'd say despite the kind of heavy topic, you managed to also include humor into your speech, which I really enjoyed when you started speaking Pidgin. It was very apt, especially for this theme of the meeting. And I think that a lot of us now, next time we're in that situation that I'm sure many of us have been in, when there's a driver that's annoying you, you just want to shout at them. But we have to remember as Toastmasters, we are supposed to communicate responsibly. So that's definitely something that I'm going to take home with me. I also enjoyed your use of the prop, which used a mask of yourself. That was quite humorous as well. However, I would say it was slightly distracting as I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I was wondering if that was a picture of your face. And I wanted to see it for just a little bit longer. I would say as well that your speech was structured very well. There was a clear beginning, middle, and end. And I loved how you introduced your speech with, have you met? And then you listed a number of different people's names. I think it would have been nice to have that tied back in as well at the end of the speech, perhaps. As you started with that, you could also end with that. I'd say you were very comfortable speaking to us, and that completely shone throughout the whole speech. And you didn't have to force any unnatural tone, and you just looked right at home on stage speaking to us. So I really, really enjoyed your speech about contradictions. Even the title, it definitely led us through what you're about to be speaking about. However, perhaps utilizing synonyms more frequently, as I did feel like I heard the word contradiction a lot. But overall, I really, really enjoyed your speech, and good luck. I look forward to hearing you speak again soon.
Thank you, Toastmaster Natasha. That was exceptional. Thank you very much for that very detailed and awesome evaluation. Next, I'll be calling on the evaluator for the second speaker in the person of Toastmaster Ade Jumobi Fashola. Toastmaster Jumobi, are you there, please?
Yes, thank you, the General Evaluator. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, you are. Okay. Please go on.
All right, thank you. Okay, Toastmaster Modupe, I loved your speech, especially the title, Our Nigeria, Our Children Are Up. It was an innovative and interesting public relations campaign for a worthy cause, our children. Well done. I like the way you started with the story comparison, using the dollar as a reference point. That was ingenious. You told us you were born in the Southwest, grew up in the Northeast, Kaduna to be precise, and went to school in the Southeast, yes. You had good transitions from one story to another. You moved with the dollar rate again, citing the dollar rate of the present day, 580 in your words, and said children are the leaders of tomorrow. And you engaged the audience in a marvelous way. You had about 7 to 8 responses on the chat box. That was really good. You also made excellent use of research with UNICEF figures and information from Jobberman about the state of graduates in Nigeria securing jobs. I liked your gestures and the injection of vocal varieties at certain points in your speech. For speech, this is good. I thought there were areas you could have added sparkles and spice to it. One, your appearance. You said you were going to deliver a story in the African mode. I would have loved to see you wear a bubu or a traditional attire. That would have made it African in the proper sense. Then your facial expression. We had the triumph when the dollar was 1 naira, 60 kobo to $1. Your facial expressions could have expressed joy, happiness, that you lived in a Nigeria of hope. Then when you had the other Nigeria, you could have projected gloom, a bit of sadness, just to demonstrate that the transition of Nigeria from good to its present state. All in all, I thought you gave a good speech in the sense that you were able to kind of touch on the hope now at the final stage of your speech, where you brought in the prop, the visual prop. Then the children made a triumph and entry to appeal for the cause. Then what was actually key, and it links to what the DTM Patrick said about how we as Toastmasters make a difference. You appeal to us. So Toastmasters in Lagos and in other places support Gavel clubs. Back to the general evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Jumobi, for that evaluation. We'll be moving on to the evaluator for the final speaker in the person of Toastmaster David Dokun. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I am, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. You have the best.
Nay, women don't belong to the other room. Yes, women can triumph. Thank you, DTM Kayode Yusuf, for that beautiful presentation. Madam General Evaluator, our fellow Toastmasters and guests, I'm pretty certain nearly everyone in this room must have been held spellbound by that presentation. DTM Kayode, please, can you say yay if you're still in the room?
Yay, I am still in the room.
Thank you. Let me go straight into evaluating that triumphant presentation you just made. Let me start off with how you look today, DTMK. This was intentional. That attire you're putting on has every flavor of Africa, and it brings to life the fact that we're even celebrating Nigeria today. So that was intentional. By the way, listeners should please note that this evaluation is not just for DTMK, it's also for everyone listening. So thank you for that. I'd also like to mention that your energy was palpable all through. Looked like you must have had like 3 cups of coffee before you made that speech. I don't know what you did, but it was so energetic. Your vocal variety, putting on those multiple hats, representing Abigail, our father's friend, that was beautiful. It was a beautiful spectacle to watch. Also, your gestures and drama were totally crisp. I loved them. They've just sort of like flowed into each other. So that was beautiful as well. I should go quickly into some things just 2 things I would appreciate, in my opinion, if you touched upon in future speeches. I observed that momentarily you came up to tap the computer or whatever was in front of you. That was slightly distracting. I thought it was a prompter for your notes. However, it will help if you don't have to do that so the audience doesn't get distracted. If you had a clicker or something, it would have been perfect. The second thing I recommend is you had an opportunity in that speech to engage the audience, especially asking them, for instance, how they felt about Abigail's advocacy, but that didn't come. I would recommend that you use that in future. Final commendation from my part today. I loved the twist at the end. The twist was amazing. Abigail is Formula Ransom Cutie. That was superbly done. Every story must have a plot, a twist, a character. You brought that home today. And you even ended with the word of the day. You said, yes, women can triumph. Wow. You ended clearly. Your points were sharply stated. Bang on 7 minutes, 24 seconds. I don't know what mastery is if that wasn't it. DTM Kayode, well done. Beautiful twist. Use of the word of the day. Clear ending. Vocal variety, energy. Could have been better if you weren't tapping the computer and engaged the audience. But your confidence was top notch today. It was a triumphant delivery. Well done. Back to you, the general evaluator.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Toastmaster David, for that exceptional and detailed evaluation. Thank you so much. Right, now we'll be moving on to our role players for tonight. And our first role player is the grammarian in the person of Toastmaster Nwaobi Orakwe. Toastmaster Nwaobi, let's hear how we all did with our grammar.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. You can all still hear me. This evening session, you can be sure, was one big triumphant session. And much as not too many of us remember the word of the day, but quite a handful of us did remember, and Toastmaster Doku brought up the rear by ensuring that he closed that gap, coming in with using that word of the day 3 times, just as the same with Toastmaster Kyogo Sohode. But the others, like the distinguished Toastmaster Kayode, used it once, Toastmaster Ndike and Juliet also used it once, whereas the district director used it twice. But our word of the day champion goes to none other than the Toastmaster of the day himself, Toastmaster John. Well done, everyone. Now, moving on to our use of the language, which was also exceptionally very good. I'd like to highlight a couple of them that I thought were really, really fantastic. We have contradiction, the paradox of our life. That was really very fantastic. Standing on clear feet. Standing on clear feet. That was really good as a way of expressing that we are standing on shaky ground. To become a better version of ourselves, that I really like. In addition to that, someone said, a frail but beautiful girl was born. A frail but beautiful girl was born. And then there were some very powerful punchlines that I also heard. A country is not a person. Freedom is not a destination, but a journey. Love can be shown through leadership. And then there were also very intriguing use of the language, like someone said, triumphant magnificence. And then I also heard very beautiful use. Someone said, I am persuaded to believe. And then another one that said, a diplomat is one who tells you to go to hell and you look forward to the trip. Then there were some not very fantastic use of the language I'd like to highlight right away. This is one area we need to focus to. That should have been one area we need to focus on. And somebody said, will be rest assured. That is more like saying rest assured, not be rest assured. And someone else said, to round up this segment, it should have been to round off. When you're rounding up, you're arrested. Without much ado, should have been further ado. All in all, I want to see that our takeaway from this event is that as Toastmasters International, we should begin the drive of the communication of hope, because our prosperity as a nation rests upon the personal financial prosperity, like someone said. And indeed, our tagline at the end of the day, I see, for this communication of hope should be that we should promote our positives, not the challenges. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nwalbi, for that evaluation on the use of grammar and the use of the word of the day. Swiftly, we'll be moving on to our timer to get the timer's reports. Toastmaster Senator Ofomi, are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm here.
Or is it okay? That's
okay.
fine.
Thank you very much,
so
Madam General Evaluator. I'll just give the report for the evaluation. For the table topics evaluators, the first evaluator used 7 minutes and 36 seconds. The second table topic evaluator used 5 minutes and 35 seconds. Then for the speech evaluators, Natasha used 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Then evaluator Ade Jumobi used 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Then the third evaluator, David Dokun, used 3 minutes, 16 seconds. Thank you very much. And over to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Senator. Toastmaster Kabir, you served us as our R counter. Are you there, please? If you are, kindly give us a report on how we fared today with our R's and M's and U's.
Yes, Madam General Evaluator, thank you, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and our distinguished guests. I'll quickly run my report. one of the wisdom of avoiding the R's and the arms is to make your report concise so that I will avoid falling for the R's and the arms. I'm sharing my screen shortly so that we can see how we fared. I picked some of few R's and M's from Toastmaster Abakar Gimba, I think about 4. I have some overuse of so from Toastmaster Vivian. Then I have R and with and repeat of words from Toastmaster Anthony Pobre. The fillers were actually at the beginning of the speech, and the repetitive of the word kind was towards the end of the speech. I also have some R and with so and one from guest Hamid. Toastmaster Chinwe actually had a repetition of word where she mentioned having said that, well, that could be for the purpose of emphasis, but then I picked that actually. Then I have 2 from Toastmaster Leke and 1 repeat of optimal in the course of her speech. I have 2 repetition of words from Toastmaster Modupe, repeat of the word the at the beginning of her speech, and repeat of we are taught towards the end of her speech. I have some R and from Distinguished Toastmaster Mike, Distinguished Toastmaster Titi Ojo, and Toastmaster Inam also. I have 1 from him. First round it was free, but then second round I picked that. Toastmaster Tari had 3 arms, 1 repetition of word of really, 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 which could be for emphasis, but then I picked that as well. Here is the list of my apologies. I think I was muted along the line. Yes, ma'am. I'm back. Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes,
I
you
have.
are.
This is my salute.
You are.
Thank you. This is my salute list. Distinguished Toastmaster Chidi, she escaped the filler words and any repetitive of word. Likewise with Distinguished Toastmaster Patrick, Toastmaster John, Toastmaster Ejura, Toastmaster Nwobi, Toastmaster. I'm muted again. Okay. Now that's the list, and this is the summary of the filler words that we use. The word had the highest count, followed by 8 times.
Okay. Just Mr. Kabir. We may just go on to the next evaluator. For some reason, I don't know what's going on here, but it seems that. Can you hear me, Toastmaster Kabir?
Very well. Keeps on muting me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you done, sir, with your report? No.
I can just flash the screen because the host keeps on muting me. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, probably the time is up, but then this is just a summary of our report.
Yeah, I guess so. Yes.
Thank
you so much. That was really detailed and very visual. Thank you so much for the visual reports and also the detailed report. That was very impressive. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator.
Our listening evaluator was Toastmaster Rashidat Saliu Bello. Are you there, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Good evening, ma'am.
Thank you. Please, I'd like to have the screen. There's still something being shared. Fellow Toastmasters and guests will try to make this as fast as possible. So please note that you could also type in your answers on the chat box. I have just 3 questions, just 3 questions. And the first question is, Toastmaster Modupe Badru enjoined all of us to try to sponsor what? Please I have just 10 seconds. As a matter of fact, I could ask Area Director David Dokun to give you a
Gavel Club.
Wow, lovely, lovely, splendid. That is lovely, beautiful. Then my second question, I need to really be sure that we were all listening. Big Mike said that Lee Kuan Yew is the proponent of a particular type of leadership. What type of leadership did Big Mike say Lee Kuan Yew is the proponent of?
Benevolent dictatorship.
Wow, just like that on a silver platter, everybody was listening. Now the final question, and I can bet nobody will remember this. First, PDD, Mike, PDD, Inam Wilson suggested a particular type of leadership. And what type of leadership did PDD Inam suggest that Nigeria adopts? No. Sorry, is somebody talking to me? 10 seconds. Toastmaster David Dokun would not give you a copy of his book if you don't answer in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Autonomous leadership. Thank you, everybody was listening beautifully. Over to you, the general evaluator.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, our listening evaluator. That was really, really quick. Thank you so much for that. Right, I'll move on quickly and swiftly to my report for the evening. I would like to start with the fact that the meeting room was open well ahead of time, and that gave enough room for everyone to interact and to network, and that was actually quite a good one. It was a good way to start. We had a chance to check our mics and our earphones and all of that. And then we moved on to start the meeting at 3 o'clock with the SAA, setting the ground rules and reading out the Toastmasters pledge. And then the opening remark by DTM Chidi was able to set the tone and mood for the meeting and got us all ready and geared up for what was ahead of time, what was ahead of the meeting. The Toastmaster of the day took over the wheels and delivered excellently. I'm sure as the Toastmaster of the day, he was amiable, he was interesting, he was engaging, and he was swift in delivering his role. I like the fact that he was really conscious of time and he was able to transition smoothly from one session to the other. He also was able to engage the audience and ask them to switch on their cameras and applaud whenever somebody came on the virtual lectern. The role players understood their assignments, they knew what they were here for, and they were able to describe their roles perfectly. Both table topic sessions handled by Toastmaster Vivian and Toastmaster Juliet were delivered exceptionally. They had great questions with equally great answers from the volunteers. So well done to everyone on that. And then obviously the breakout session was a hit. Everyone enjoyed themselves. Well, most people enjoyed themselves and everyone came back super excited to go on with the meeting. And then of course, the panel discussion was also well delivered. Toastmaster Craig did an exceptional job with asking really interesting and pertinent questions. And of course, the panelists did not disappoint. They gave really insightful, informative answers, a lot to take home to think about. So well done, everyone. And of course, all of our evaluators delivered well. They gave their evaluations for each of their roles and everyone did really well. The only thing I would recommend, I noticed that some people had the habit of addressing somebody as TM, for example, TM Ejura, TM Ayang. When you're addressing a Toastmaster, you should call out Toastmaster Ejura, Toastmaster Vivian, and so forth. Apart from that, it was a really good meeting. Obviously, there have been evaluations on managing time. I would also add to that, we should learn to manage time as speakers and have an interesting independent holiday. Thank you so much for having me as General Evaluator. I'll be handing over back to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster John. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, our General Evaluator, Toastmaster Ejura. Now we're going to quickly vote for who we felt was the best evaluator. 30 seconds and the poll goes down. And while that's going on, once the poll is concluded, please, we're getting ready to give our awards. I hope the speakers have not left. Table topics, prepared speeches. Let's go. We just have about 20 seconds and the poll will be down. If you don't vote, there's nothing we can do. The preference you have for the best evaluator may not end up winning. We have about 10 more seconds before that poll goes down. And then we now get the awards for best table topic speaker for both segments and best prepared speech speaker. Poll has ended. We may now put that down. Sergeant at Arms, Zoom Master, please can you share the certificate for the best table topic speaker? And I hope they are still here for the first segment. Trying to look. Is he here? I don't see him. I don't see him. Zoom Master, please can you quickly share the certificate for the best table topic speaker? Unfortunately, I don't think. Okay, yes, I see him. There we go. We already know who he is, Hamed. But Hamed, you need to see your certificate. Why are you looking shocked, Hamed? You knew that you won that segment.
I know, but I know the quality of my speech,
There you go, Hamed. You can smile now, you can dance. I hope you dropped your contact with someone. Please reach out to Hamed. They'll give you a soft copy. You need to get in touch with us and join. The next winner, please. Let's move on because time is far spent. Let us see the next certificate. Hamed, this time I don't know who the winner is. Now you can be shocked when you see the certificates. And Toastmaster Unduke, congratulations. Well done. An amazing speech.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Congratulations. You can sign up for Toastmasters again. Let's move on. The best prepared speech speaker. Thank you so much, Zoom Master. Let's see the certificate for the best prepared speech speaker. Thank you. Now let's put that up so we can have more surprised faces going home triumphant. Oh, Toastmaster Kaide Yusuf, DTM. The women are supporting you because of that twist in your speech. I see what you did. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Let's go on to the best evaluator. Best evaluator for today. I hope that is ready. Oh, best evaluator, Toastmaster David Dokun. You bribed them with your green attire. Oh, no, will not work. The love of Nigeria. Thank you so much. Well done, everyone. The meeting has now come to an end. It has been my delight to serve as the Toastmaster of the day. We need more events like this. In fact, because of the caliber of men and women and how you played your roles, anyone here who attended the meeting and I apply for a job, they'll give me the job because you made me look good. And I say thank you for that. Now let's leave this meeting and actually put into practice what we've learned so we transform our lives and transform the nation. But before we go, we have concluding remarks, and that will be delivered by a Toastmaster who is a humanitarian, is a philosopher and freelance entrepreneur. He is the current Division E District 94 Director. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a virtual round of applause, please let's welcome to our screens Toastmaster Reginald Umba, DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster John. You've done a terrific job serving as the Toastmaster of the day for today's event. I absolutely enjoyed this triumphant event, and I agree with you. We should absolutely have more events like this going forward. The time is fast spent, so I'll begin by thanking the organizers for this event. Distinguished Toastmaster Chidi Chukwudikalu and the team did such an amazing job putting together this event, getting the role players to be on top of the game. There was also a rehearsal to ensure that everything went smooth. Thank you all so much for making this happen. I would like to thank the role players from the Toastmaster of the day, the panel moderator, the table topics master, the table topic speakers. You all did an amazing job. Thank you all so much. We are indebted to your service. Thank you. I would like to thank the speakers. We had Toastmaster Inyang Gate Inyang, we had DTM Kayode, and a host of other speakers, including the panel, the panelists. We had the past district directors and the person of Inam Wilson and distinguished Toastmaster Mike, with the past division director for Division E, distinguished Toastmaster Titi Ojo. It was an amazing event. I would like to thank you, the audience, for showing up for today's event. This event was meant for you. Without you, we will not be hosting such a wonderful event in the first place. For me, the highlight of today's event was the breakout session where I got to meet a close relative. She's back there in Port Harcourt while I'm in the FCT. So it was a wonderful surprise, and I'll definitely be reaching back after this event. Thank you all. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful experience, an amazing event, an extraordinary program put together. I appreciate you coming here, and I would like to adjourn. I don't want to close the event. I want to adjourn this for a future. looking forward to a future event like this. So please, you can put on your cameras to say hello, say hi, network more, as the case may be. Thank you all.
Good evening, all. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, DT.
Good job, everyone.
Nice meeting you all. Good evening, everybody.
A jolly good
evening.
Great event. Well done.
Great event. Nice event. Thank you, everyone.
Well done, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. I really enjoyed. I had a nice time here.
Thank you all so much.
Well done, Hamid.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, DT and Kayode, for that awesome speech.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, winner.
Bye.
Thank you, second winner.
Exciting.
Quite an exciting event.
Yeah,
So I totally enjoyed it.
I did.
Please don't forget to connect for the Reformation meeting tomorrow evening, 7 p.m.
Absolutely.
It's important.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Didi Chidi. You and the team did an extraordinary job. Thank you.
It's a perfect. Thank you, sir. The team was still here.
I was at the top, is here.
Yeah, he just left.
Okay.
I just noticed.
Incredible.
Don't forget. Yeah. Reformation meeting tomorrow. This your beard is looking absolutely fine on you.
Are you serious? I'm considering taking it out. At least we've started living the COVID era, so we should leave COVID behind.
You know, you look like a very rich uncle, very rich uncle. You know, and you're giving out rich uncle vibes.
I was thinking that he came through COVID and he should leave since COVID is gone. But now it seems like I'm just going to leave it. Thank you very much. It was a wonderful time today.
Yes, it was.
We should do more of these. We should do more of these.
Very rich uncle. I agree. We'll look for events to collaborate.
As I'm jetting out, let me just, Chidi, that was great. Well done. Hey, there you see this guy. You see the way he looks today. I'm just like, there's something about him today. Honestly, the costume is so beautiful. Your voice. The rich uncle thing you just got, right? You got that thing. When you said it, I was like, I've been looking for this description. Yes. Seriously. No. This is good. This is good. I love it.
Okay, so I think I'm going to give a feedback to where I got the costume from. So my
no, don't give it back to where it is. Own it. You have to own this. I want to see you more.
Oh, okay.
Okay, guys, I gotta run. So enjoy your evening, enjoy your weekends. All right.
Thank you.
All right, good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Nice being here.
Yes, sir.
Bye, take care.
Wow. I need to come and take some lessons on how to, on storytelling.
I need to also monetize the skill.
No, before you monetize it, let me first of all tap into it first. I've actually really heard a spellbound, honestly. The chronology.
Wow. Thank you very much.
Sequence. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes. All right. I think it's time to say bye-bye to everybody for the last time. Bye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Okay.
All right, good night. Bye. Well done.
Bye.
What are you doing now?
Yeah.
What were you?
All right.